Hey, I'm James, and I'm the producer for our Teens with Attitude game, the Radical Robo Rock Rangers. This is going to be our Radical Robo Rock Rangers retrospective. We're going to all talk about Season 1 and how we felt about it, how it went. But just to get intros out of the way, Teens with Attitude is powered by the Apocalypse mod made by David Bernal Brutman. Also, we have some cute art that I will possibly be flashing onto the screen periodically for our characters. That was done by Red Tail Studios. She's a good friend of the show. And with that, my name is James. I'm going to be talking hopefully a little bit about like the things that I was doing in the background to make this game run, trying to give some tips and just insights. And if you all have any questions that I can answer that I'm not going to farm for season 2 stuff, I'll be happy to answer it while we're here. Let's go ahead and pass again to Aaron.
I'm Aaron. I played Kenny the Jock. I talked like this. Welcome to the Radical Robo Rock Rangers Roundabout Roundup.
Yeah!
Rodeo. Down, hootenanny.
Rodeo.
All right, and next up is Charles.
Wearing my Wranglers.
Hi, I'm Charles. I played Elijah, the weird one. I said it before, but I'll say it again. I like to break the game. Thank you for letting me be the weird one who breaks the game. But only for good things, not for bad things, not for me.
Listen, when I was able to actually put the Ancient One track to the back of it, I was so happy. Like that made my day. Being that dork. Let's go ahead and pass over to Denitra.
Hello, my name is Denitra. I played Deja, the popular formerly mean girl. And
reformed.
Yeah, reformed. Yeah, and it was fun. I liked it.
And then we also have Michelle.
That's me. I played Addie. 2 seconds before I had to say her name, I was like, what the fuck was her name? Yeah, I played Addie, the radical ruby red Robo Rock Ranger. For reals. She was, right, I guess, the rebel also. Another R, forgot that one. And kind of the mean one, kind of the like, I don't believe anything, the skeptic. Yeah. Whatever the R word for skeptic is.
I will say you had some big Lancer energy with no one to lance for. It was great.
What does that mean?
It's character trope for 5-man band. The Lancer is like the rude Kane anti-hero one.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, like Kane Highwind.
Estinian.
Hey. Yeah. I'll perfect my one-handed push-ups before next season.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, shit. Me too.
All right, and finally, last but not least, let's throw it to Philip.
Hi, I'm Philip. I played Oishin, the brainiac, loner, nerdy kid who wanted to try and break out of his shell. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I think it worked. He got some real friends and got some life experiences, and yeah, had a good time.
And I got to play everybody else. I was here the whole time. Just as a start off, I wanted to just give a shout out to us. We played a total of 15 sessions of this game through what I codified as 9 episodes, with episode 7 being 2 episodes, episode 8 being a two-parter, and episode 9, the finale, being a 4-parter. I did not think it was going to take that long. Charles laughed at me. I should have listened and laughed in with him.
Yeah,
it's true.
Wasn't the first episode also 2 episodes?
Well, I guess we technically had a part
like
0.
1.5 episodes.
Yeah.
Math is funny.
Yeah, especially when you don't adhere to it while you're making episode numbers. We had, just to go down the list, because I have it all. I actually do have a legitimate like notes folder that lists out all the episodes, but I got pretty sparing when it came to keeping my notes down later on in the season, so I'm shy to show them. We had our notes in session 0, and then we had pilot and continued as 1. So actually, I guess we had 16 sessions.
Yep.
I just continuated the notes. Then we had rock out with your hockey out. We had click, click, boom. We had the show shall go on. We had new wave rock, quiz talks, math rocks, ring dance rumble part 1 and 2, the parents' fault part 1 and 2, and then finale with all 4 parts.
They had individual names.
They had
weren't they just like Rising Action Conclusion?
yeah they were. It was I did a dumb thing and I named them based off of the four main
It's not
parts.
dumb. It's totally cool.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
The four main parts of a movie structure because the finale is a movie.
Power Rangers made a movie. We can do it too.
At least one.
Man, we are not going to get the budget that they got for that movie. Let's call it out real quick. They had too much money to spend, and the fact that they put it into a movie like that with the CGI and everything and the brand new costumes was actually kind of rad and unprecedented, because basically all that show. All right, here's some shade for Saban. The show was a toy commercial, but it was also just a reskin that they shot exactly 10 minutes of footage for, and then per episode, and then kind of packaged around what was the hotness, and then skimped as much money as possible, which is why some of the actors left when they tried to renegotiate, and they were like, "You're so replaceable. Get out of here."
I'd like to call it Robotech, but live action.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. Ooh.
And without the lasting damage done to being able to import Macross overseas.
At least there's that.
Ugh.
Not that anybody knows what Jew Ranger is. It's amazing how flash in the pan Jew Ranger itself was, all things considered.
Yeah, and you know what? Going back and like watching some of the old Jew Ranger, it's still fun.
It's fun, yes. Good.
It depends on your.
You could say that about most of them, though.
The older ones.
Lightspeed Rescue was a masterpiece, modern masterpiece of its time.
I love Lightspeed Rescue. Oh, that theme song was just a banger anyway.
Yeah.
No.
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 Oh, okay. So just a little full disclosure. Unfortunately for Charles, I went through a bit of a phase where I was just listening to Power Rangers theme for the longest time. My ringtone was the Zeo, Power Rangers Zeo theme song.
No, it's specifically SPD is the one with Doggy Cruiser, right?
Yeah, that's SPD.
No.
Look, all right, that hate there isn't my fault.
Yes, I know.
I'm not taking responsibility for that.
I don't know what happened here, but I feel like we don't need to.
Wait, no, that was SPD.
Oh, it's SPD.
That's what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, that's right. SPD. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Then the SPD is the one that I do not like. Like, I watched some of it and I was like, what is this show even?
So good, though. And that also had a banger theme song.
I'm gonna be honest. The role that Diamond played had loose ties to Doggy Kruger.
I can see it.
Yeah. In terms of being like the mentor character
Charles
that
hates our game too.
No,
it's just that season was so weird.
It wasn't that weird in comparison.
In comparison.
It is what it is. But anyway, so just we shot a lot of this and played a lot of sessions. I'm believing the kayfabe. That's true. It is recorded.
It was recorded. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to just really quickly ask if anybody wanted to tell the story of why this game exists.
Sure. All right. So almost like 2 years ago now, I don't remember if we were hanging out with you and Tiki, or like you were talking about it during a different game. But James mentioned that he and Tiki, who was in our original game on this channel, like original campaign on this channel, the Greek one,
she's also
that they were gonna go. Yes, that's his wife, but I wasn't gonna categorize it. No. Anyway, they mentioned they were going to Gen Con, which is a gaming convention with a lot of tabletop stuff in it. And I was like, Philip really likes tabletop. Let's go do a hobby of his that he really likes. So we went with them. They so kindly opened up their hotel room that they already had ready, like for who even knows how long, to us as well. And we went and we hung out, and it was a super great time. But because Philip and I just did kind of like ride on some coattails and slide in there at the very end to make it to the convention, we had the quote unquote dregs. All of the games we went to, except for one, were really great. So I don't want to say dregs, but it was like the tail end of games that were open. One of which was a Power Rangers based game. This game system we're playing now. We're just like, I don't know, that seems fun. We liked that when we were younger. Fuck it, let's do that. It'll be great. And we went, and the guy who hosted this game, I wish I could remember your name. This guy was so into it. So the area that we went to play this game was, I don't know, maybe like a dozen round tables with white tablecloths on them. But in the back, in the center, there's one tablecloth that looks very much like Aaron's background. And it's got some like Power Rangers pop-up books for 3-year-olds on it. And he brought us the like little Pentec pencils from the 90s. And all of his DM notes were in a Trapper Keeper. He was into this shit and the era and just like all of the theming and stuff. He was there for it. It was a great experience. And everybody who was at the table was having a blast as well. So we play this game. We get back to the hotel room. And we're telling a story very, very similarly to this. Like, oh my gosh, James, this was so fun. We did this and we did that. And the way you get points is you make terrible puns and blah, blah, blah. And James is like, that sounds like a lot of fun. And then it just sort of grew into this idea of, you know what? We could do this with our friends. And then we would be idiots on the internet, but it would be entertaining. That's kind of... Any additions? I think that covers it, hopefully.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was that was the Gen Con that they actually introduced the alien, which was the newest character. That was what, number 7, I think. I think there's 6 characters otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had introduced a brand new character, and I think that was the character that you played, Michelle. You played.
Yep, I was the alien there. Who are you? You was Slacker.
Yeah, I was a Slacker originally. Yeah, and everybody loved it. And the cool thing about it is like, because of the way the system has the like, you know, oh, as the Brainiac, someone will be nice to you because you do their homework. Pick another player. And so, you know, I just picked someone else at the table. And so it kind of created that connection for one game at least, where we could talk and be like, oh, hey, we know each other this way. And so it sort of, you know, fake created bonds and everything, but helped, you know, with complete strangers.
Yeah. I will say that is one of the core tenets, basically, the Powered by the Apocalypse system, is that it tries to get you to experience the game and gamify it through roleplay rather than really going for just like experience points or anything like that. I know that our leveling was kind of arbitrary. I had to kind of stretch it out a little bit because of reasons. But as far as that goes, that's something that was always fun. And that was why when you guys were talking about it, I was like, well, I've been wanting to run a Powered by the Apocalypse game, but I can't get myself to just sit down and do it because it takes so much buy-in from other people. But hearing you all talk about a Power Rangers game and knowing how much of a Power Rangers nerd, well, we all cumulatively are, but knowing that I was just like, I could do that. I always liked the stupid, like, Xena Hercules, Power Rangers, like, you know, campy TV show. Yeah, campy TV show outline that the structure is very apparent if you watch it for long enough, but it's still fun. And
it was a really good time.
And good for storytelling, absolutely, because it's one of those things where one of the tools that I like to use in my kit is the downtime interaction moments, and those slot into it so perfectly that I thought that it was a good shot for something to do for us too. So,
and just like as a small aside from that, that was my first Gen Con, and up until we started this channel, slightly before we started this channel, I was like, I'm not super into tabletop. I've never really had super good experiences. I'll be totally honest. I expected us to sit down at a table at all of our games with a bunch of introverts who didn't want to pretend to be their characters. And I was so wrong. Everybody who sat at these tables with us were super, super into it. The DMs were great. Some of them were the people who made the game systems themselves. So they were into it. They knew what was going on. And they got you like so that you could understand what was happening quickly. It was so much fun. So if you ever are like thinking about going to Gen Con on the fence, just go. It is so fun. And play at least 4 games.
At least 4?
Yeah.
No more than that, no more, no less.
No,
you can
least
do more.
4. I would have loved to have done more, but like any less than that, I would have been sad. It was really fun. It was a good time. We played one game. Sorry to do one more tangent. It's a short one. It
You're
was
good.
me and Philip and James and Tiki, and we were the only people at this one DM's table, and we like almost took over just because we all knew each other, and we were like building threads amongst each other while the DM's going, wait a minute.
That was our
these people
mutants
know
and
each other."
masterminds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy was just like, God, he had his head on a swivel because he was not ready for us, and I don't think English was his first language either. But he had it all planned out, and then I went and basically built a character that was exactly his his stock pseudo protagonist character that we were supposed to be saving, and I didn't realize that until the end. I was like, oh no.
Anyway, this game.
Yeah. So for this game, let's just vamp a little bit about influences. So at least for my personal, Ronin Warriors, definitely all the Power Rangers stuff, but just also all the other ones. Like I watched what I would consider a too much amount of Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And other shows of the like, because when I would go to hang out at my dad's house for summer, he had cable and I didn't. And so I would just be sitting there watching all the shows that I could. So I would start binging like seasons of things. And it was always fun for me to be able, it's definitely fun for me to be able to pull from those little threads. Like Sailor Moon was something I always watched like the first 2/3 of the episode, but then I had to go to the bus. Things like that. What's
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I started watching the first Power Rangers, the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I think I saw like whatever the second, I don't want to say season, but whatever the second title became. I think after that is the third one the one with the cars?
Turbo?
Yeah.
Zeo came before Turbo.
Zeo was it was Zeo, then Turbo, then I think it was Lightspeed, and then SPD.
So
SPD
Zeo,
came later.
Zeo is the one where they were like the quote unquote ninjas.
No, so
No, that was
still
season 2.
technically, yeah, like that was still technically Mighty Morphin. That was
It goes
After the
Power
movie.
Rangers, Alien Rangers. That's what you're forgetting. Alien Rangers. Remember that?
yeah, but weren't the Alien Rangers like isn't
Right
that
before
only
Zeo.
like a
I'm looking
4
at the
episode
timeline
arc?
right now. So it goes Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, Zeo, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, then Lightspeed Rescue, then Time Force.
I forgot about Lost Galaxy.
I didn't like
yeah,
Lost
there's a lot of
Galaxy.
bad ones in there.
When did
So,
Dino
yeah,
Thunder
my
hit?
goodness.
Way later.
Yeah, after 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, we were
Yeah, I
adults
saw-
when Dino Thunder came out.
The first two, they started Turbo. I remember there's the kid. They hired like a 9-year-old for the
Mhm.
show. and
Wow,
he could
yeah.
quote unquote turn into an adult.
Yeah, his Henshin
Uh,
sequence was weird.
There was
Yeah,
a
so
lot
I
of
didn't
funny
watch that.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
But then I also watched things like Big Bad Beetleborgs, where they were in the like had the ghost that kind of looked like Elvis in an old mansion.
Jay Leno
Although I think
ghost.
he's a genie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was another one. It was like VR Troopers.
Mhm.
I used to watch VR Troopers. That was one where like they had like trucks and they had vehicles and stuff that they would drive around as part of their thing. I think I'm not even 100% sure.
Yeah, one of them had like a little jet, I think, and
Yeah, it was like a jet, a car, and some kind of tank type vehicle, I want to say. I don't remember. It
yeah.
made a really cheesy robot.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think those are my big 3 experience with the Power Ranger style, the Henshin Warrior style. I never really got to see much you know, Japanese style cartoons that came from all that any anime that had, like you're saying, what do you say, Macross? I haven't seen that or anything.
Right.
So yeah, that's
wasn't
pretty much all.
Macross more of a giant mobile suit anime? It's like a Gundam than a
Oh, okay, you're right.
Henshin
Mhm.
Ranger.
Yeah, Henshin Ranger shows
But
tended
he doesn't
to
know
be-
that. He hasn't seen it.
Yeah, that's I was like, sorry, I got the name wrong, but yeah, that's what I was meaning. I haven't seen any anime that was Power Rangers type.
Okay.
I mean, unless you count Sailor Moon as
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely we do.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
so-
Sailor Moon and Ronin Warriors / Samurai Troopers absolutely count. Saint Seiya counts.
The I would argue that a lot of magical girl team shows count.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not that you've seen like a plethora of those, but
But yeah, that's pretty much my experience.
who's next?
I'll go. I only watched the original Mighty Morphin. That was it. I had stickers on my wall. I had the sheets. I loved it. And then they did Alien Rangers, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then they did Zeo after the movie, and I was like, I don't like this anymore. And then I bounced off the genre completely, other than the anime that pops up. I think Ronin Warriors is the only one that I was crazy about.
So good.
Yeah, for a while, but I was stuck in Toonami hell, so it just kept repeating, and I never knew what happened next.
I actually got Ronin Warriors as it came on at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I wasn't home yet then, but I like to harken back to the fact that I'm an IT person now comes from learning how to program the VCR to record things.
Yeah, that was a thing you could do.
Yeah, and
I
did.
definitely, I watched Ronin Warriors as like a 3-year-old, like the first American pass on TV. So I remember nothing about it except, and this is so dumb, playing on the McDonald's playground with other kids because we all knew what Ronin Warriors was, and then we would all pick our own and then like arguing. No, I want to be. Don't remember the name of anything.
I love that.
Lady Kyra.
It was fuck no. I wanted to be an armor dude.
She was an armored chick. She was strong.
Didn't care.
Also, she had a tragic backstory.
Yeah, I was 3. I didn't
No,
care
you're
about
good.
that stuff yet. But yeah, that's what I remember of Ronin Warriors. So I remember it fondly, but nothing about it. I was a big Sailor Moon fan, and the reason I discovered Sailor Moon was Toonami. But were you done, Charles? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was done.
Okay. It's because I used to really like Pirates of Darkwater. And when that stopped playing, Sailor Moon went into that slot. And it was right after I got home from school. The only reason that I was home is because I lived really, really close to school.
Nice.
Power Rangers was one that I watched in the morning before, I think, elementary school, maybe 4th, 5th grade. Very, very young. And I'm pretty sure that was around the time where my mom gave in and started driving my brother and I to school so we could finish watching it all before school, which is such a nice thing to do, right? Like, she
That's
didn't need to do that.
amazing.
She could have been like, no, record it. No,
Get on
you'll
the
figure it out
bus,
later. Get on
walk.
the freaking bus. But no, she would sit there and watch it with us. So it was kind of like a cute time for the 3 of us to sit around, do something together, and then go deal with the hell that was school.
Shout out to one of the real ones.
Yeah, right? Good job, Mom. Thank you. So yeah, those are probably the big 3. I did watch a bunch of other magical girl anime because, you know, when you're 13 and you discover something you like and you finally have friends that are into the same thing as you're like, I need to get my hands on everything I possibly can. So there were some okay ones, and there were some that I look back on now and I'm like, oh, it's terrible. What's wrong with this? But yeah, it was mostly those 3. Ronin Warriors, Power Rangers, and Sailor Moon.
All
Oh,
right.
I do want to add, unless we want to save it for like a later thing, specific character inspiration. Is that a point later?
That is actually on the
All
timeline,
right, I'll save it.
and it is coming up almost next.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was saying you probably have a bigger catalog of things that you've seen than I do.
That's why I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
Demetra's being polite, so she can say all that plus.
Yeah. I was similar to Charles. I didn't watch any Power Rangers after Morphin. Like, I just didn't care anymore.
My thing.
Other than that, go ahead.
I meant to say this. Well, I'm so rude. Trini was my favorite in original Mighty Morphin. And when they were like, she's gone, I was like, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
happened
tracks.
with a lot of
Jason
our
for
friends.
me, but
Goodbye.
Zach.
Zach, yeah, I was like,
Mhm.
sorry,
Yeah.
I'm out.
The big 3.
yeah. They were right. They were definitely carrying that stable.
I'm sorry. Good.
That's fine. Yeah, and after that, I only really vaguely caught episodes of Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad and VR Troopers, and that's kind of my whole interaction with the genre. I didn't until recently even start looking up the actual, Jew Ranger and stuff like that. I recently read all of the Loser Ranger manga that's out right now,
Ooh,
which is pretty fun. I know the tropes because it's everything. It's they're everywhere, so I enjoy the tropes. But other than that, I don't have a lot of skin in the game of this really.
Shout out to Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad for isekaiing kids into the Matrix before it was cool.
Yeah, but they could leave.
Well, yeah, but
The
It's
isekai
still-
are
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Digimon.
Digimon I think was later,
Digimon was way well, not way
but
later,
more of an
later,
isekai.
and they were
The
able to
first
come
isekai.
back after they completed their objective.
Yeah.
Well, they went there to do the objective and then leave. It's not like they were like, we're stuck here, we can never leave. It's like they're fucking with the digital world. Our dial-up modem needs to be defended.
Yeah. Can we talk about how it's like, oh man, they took over all the coffee machines? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know your coffee machine was hooked up to the phone line.
It is now.
Yeah, look at this now.
Well, not the phone line, but yeah.
I'll
That's
never let
Bluetooth.
Skynet
The
in
phone
my
line's
non-existing-
replacement.
I'll never let Skynet into my coffee machine that I don't have.
Yep.
There you go. You tell them.
I got a French press, so yeah.
All
It's
right.
literally manual, so.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's nice though. Get it nice and
Yeah.
nice and fully done. All right,
Charles makes a mean
Dimitri.
cup of coffee.
He does.
It's a ritual, you know?
Well, that's fair.
A blood
That I don't
sacrifice is
want
needed.
technology in. Yeah, definitely.
Technology just makes you have to clean it more anyway.
All right, everybody, get your drinks. Let's get ready for the lowdown.
Wait, we're supposed to have drinks? I'm not supposed to have drinks. Got something to do later.
That's true.
So, as far as like, my
Let's get it out of the way. You've watched Power Rangers for its entire run.
well, not its entire run, but let me just
But you
say, so
backfilled.
I spent some of my younger years overseas, and by the time Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was kicking off in the States, us kids in Okinawa were just like very confused by Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because when it eventually got back to us, we are just like, this is awesome, but confusing because by this point, older kids knew what Jew Ranger was.
Jew
but,
Ranger was
it had
dead and in the ground too.
Yeah, like Jew Ranger was out in the 80s, so they're just like,
And you can tell if I'm looking at it.
I went to a youth center, so there was always kids of numerous ages, and when we wanted to watch the 3 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers tapes that were in that youth center, they're just like, what is this? But it's in English, so I guess we'll watch it because media for children in English was a luxury for us. So when I always was a fan of Sailor Moon, like from Jump, so I have been just deeply entrenched in all that sort of media since I was a kid.
Sailor Moon wasn't in Jump. It was. No, I'm just kidding.
Shoujo beat.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna real quick, Dimitri. I'm gonna draw the F.H.E.
Oh my god, yes. Okay. So Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad had a ad in those Deke tapes for Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog. So even before I watched that show, I was well acquainted with VR Troopers and Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, all that. So when I eventually got to watch it, I was all in. And yes, we're joking about me watching all of the Power Rangers, but yeah, I watched quite a lot of it, sat through all of it. Saturday morning cartoons are over. It's time for Power Rangers. Okay. Yeah, I was also one of those kids who dropped off when the big 3 left during Mighty Morphin, but I gave them another chance because I thought Rocky was cute. And I thought Adam was cute. So I was just
Hey,
like,
shout
I
out
guess
to
I'll give them another chance.
shout out to our boy JYB. He's done good for himself.
Yes. Yeah. Gosh. I'm not gonna say that I still have a crush on that man, but you know.
I
Wouldn't
have a
kick him
crush
out
on
for chewing crack.
something pixelated related to that man. Or at least 14-year-old Michelle does.
Oh.
Pixelated. Do you mean?
Ah.
Is it
Can't be.
Trigun?
Yeah.
Are we talking about Trigun?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That tracks. That
Yeah,
tracks.
that does track.
But yeah. I've just been here for the long haul. Yeah, and I truncated that so we can go on to the next part.
Cool. So next, I wanted to talk about story. That's what's on the outline, and the fun part about this being that I think definitely one of the coolest parts of the system gets out of the way almost immediately, and that is everybody sits down in most Powered by the Apocalypse games, but also especially in this one, and everybody decides what the layout and the story and everything is going to be for the baseline of the show. And so
I think that really helps. Like I always like that in other tabletop games that I've played, where I'd be like, oh, okay, like, are we gonna get together and go over like what the story's about or the characters, anything? And it's always like, no, just make a character. We'll show up on day one and we'll start. And it's like, okay.
I
This-
think it also really helps to establish the level of seriousness.
Mhm.
Because you pick the name of your town and you name it Beach Mountain, and you're like, all right, that's where we are with this. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's smart to codify it because you can do that in every other system, but people don't.
Yeah,
Mhm.
this game is like,
Session
you have
zeros are
homework,
very
get it
important.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, session zeros are super important, and you codify it, and then people have to do it, and they realize, oh, this is why you do it. But yeah, like, well, are you going to talk about the system later, James? I think you are, right?
We're talking. Yeah, the system is on the outline, but it's
Okay,
kind of a
I'll wait
loose
till then.
thing. You think?
Okay.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
mean, if it's appropriate for now, why not?
it's the only thing that I have to say about that is like codifying it in Powered by the Apocalypse and things like that is awesome. And when people don't see it in other tabletops, they're like, I guess I can't do it. No, learn from this one.
Just
do
rip
that.
it.
It's great.
Oh
Yeah,
man, our
seriously.
hack episode. We need to do our hacking episode. Oh,
Yep.
it's really a lot of fun. So let's see. Just to start, I'm just gonna read you all off the make decisions tree notes. Squad type Mecha Rangers, hometown Rock River with a beach. Butch Rock was the founder because y'all are heinous. The hangout was comics and cassettes, which evolved into comics and cassettes and more, I think.
Yeah.
And we just kept tacking on things like there was a karate studio, there was like a taco thing.
It's a strip mall, you know.
All owned by the Tsar.
The mentor, you guys said yes, and you said that their origin was they were a retired Mecha Ranger. The Morpher was Cool Shades, which I could not be happier that all of you decided to impose on yourselves by all going and getting shades and then wearing them during the game with your headphones, which, oh no, Charles, don't do it. Don't. No, it's...
I don't want to.
I broke
I don't
mine.
want to.
Oh. Oh, you did. That's
Oh,
right.
you
You
did
broke
on
them in the
stream.
last
I
episode.
broke them on stream.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to say this was my fault because I'm not entirely sure it was just my idea. But I am the one who's like, I need a costume piece for every one of my characters.
No, because originally it was going to be bracelets. It was my idea because I had the idea that I always had the idea of
remember that.
like the synchronized like glass flip out and everybody puts them on at the same time, but that would never work because somebody would stab themselves in the eyes trying to like look into the camera and do it here.
Yeah. I think you said slap bracelets, which I brought back later.
Slap horse.
Yeah, Slap Force, the offshoot of Robo Rock Rangers. We had a secret base of an abandoned factory. You wanted a robot AI. I decided it was going to sound kind of like Pierce Brosnan, but I don't know. Feature was defensive cloaking shield, which we worked into stuff. The drawback was no modern amenities, which we didn't really play on much. I will say, you all didn't hang
didn't go
out
very
at
often,
the base
no.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, we hung out at the Tsar's place.
Yeah, we had stuff like we could do there, but we always were just like, like we wanted to, like I remember the first couple of episodes, like, oh, we were looking through comics, let's go there. And then it kind of came the default place to go to. So yeah.
Maybe make the hangout into the base next time. Did I blow up that base? I blew up that base.
Yeah, you did.
I
Yeah, you blew up
did.
that
Yeah,
base.
so we can
Now-
reorg.
It kind of worked out that we didn't go to the base much because there was that whole like there's something happening at the base, you have to remember to check on it, and we didn't. So that plot point went through.
Yeah.
I mean, bold of you to think I didn't have 5 more plans, but yeah. It is.
Okay.
No, yeah, it was definitely a fun thing, but I don't know. It could have been an interaction point more, but I think you all did plenty, if I'm honest.
I think most
so.
of our interactions with quote unquote the base were through our glasses since we had that.
Yeah. That was another thing. Giving you all the intercom with the glasses was definitely a shortcut to. We don't have to go back to the base to talk to the AI. We can talk to the AI right now. So it worked out.
I think if we had done the thing where the Power Rangers do, where they can just like hit the button and they teleport directly to the base.
We did.
You had it later.
Not till later.
True.
Yeah.
If we had done that the first time instead of being like, oh, we just have communication with them, then we would have gone there and it may have been a more common thing.
I'm gonna chalk this up to modernization and our mentality as people who live in the 2020s now rather than back when we were kids. Back in the day, it didn't make much sense to be like Dick Tracy watch talking with each other. Like that was a weird thing, but being able to just be like teleport to the place so you can be in person, that made a lot more sense than it does these days where it's like, well, no, just use one of the millions of communication devices we have.
Yeah.
Just
Not
like
only that, but visually in a show, it's kind of more interesting to have all of the people swoop through the air and show up in this cool alien background and talk to each other in front of each other rather than being like, yeah, what's up?
yeah.
100% agree. For video, it definitely works.
Swoop.
Yep, you have to have all the different Crayola crayon effects.
That's what it was.
And now, of course, I wanted to have you all like just vamp a little bit. I will be right back. But if you guys want to vamp a little bit about what your influences and your ideas for your characters were when going through, and I can
Michelle, you
talk
had
about a few
something.
NPCs if you had.
I have a
you
nose
should go
issue
first.
right now, so I don't want to go first.
Okay. Then I'll go just because I was talking anyway. So yeah, it was the weird one, which I didn't really know what does the weird one do, but it kind of gives you, the occult and whatever. And I went, it's the 90s, so he's got to be a punk rocker. And James can vouch when he comes back. When I make characters, I make the whole character. I'm a little insane. So I was like, oh no, I know his family. I know exactly what he does. I know what friends he has. I know that he writes for a punk rock magazine and he thinks he's a poet or a songwriter. And yeah, so that was all the background. And then he got these powers and all of a sudden, oh shit, everything's real? Oh man, I've been right this whole time. Nobody will still believe me, but that's cool. So he was kind of like the counterculture, not very great at school, like because he didn't care, but also he's not all that smart. He just knows really weird shit. And it didn't actually come up as much as I thought it would. The
Wisdom not end.
non-ranger, yeah, the non-ranger weird stuff didn't come up as much as I thought it might. Mostly because I didn't want to be as annoying as I could be.
No, you shouldn't.
Because like every time you use your thing, and I think Philip, this was the same for your Brainiac character. It's like I don't want to take over, but I kind of have to just start talking about random stuff right now. So yeah, for influences, I didn't take any from Power Rangers because they didn't have a weird one, really, not in the
That's very
first
true.
season.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, so I kind of went instead of like weird occult, weird into the powers and able to figure that out, which was super fun because I became the specialist and not the damage dealer and not the blocker. The one who on every turn goes, all right, I'm doing 411, which was really fun in that way. But yeah, I guess the most inspiration I took was from the 90s, not really from any show or character that I knew about, because I didn't want to be like super conspiracy theorist either. Not in these days. Maybe in the 90s. Right now, I don't want to even think about that. So it was mostly the one more in tune with his powers, which was fun. It was a whole lot of fun.
And it reflected too when you ended up being the first one to be like, and I'm a special extra magic man.
Yep. And then he immediately went, I shouldn't have done that. This was a dumb idea. But okay, well, I guess we're doing it. And so that was fun. Yeah, true facts. I was saving my 5 points in the finale to make everyone do that too. Like, just to give everyone the exact same, like, okay, well, I just want them to talk to each other and they can decide if they want to use it or not, because I didn't want to force it on people. Like, I almost called you Sonny instead of Kenny. Because, you know, Kenny, you had that great arc. So I didn't want to do that, right? To just be like, here you go, talk to him. But yeah,
I really did kind of like that about the ending. Instead of like one after another, we all have the same thing happen to us, because that's what happens in these kinds of shows.
Yep.
Everybody got to a similar point, but from a different springing point, and I think that was really cool. So good job, James.
100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't choose for half of you. Y'all kind of did your own things. Charles just brute forced it, which was great.
It was just luck. That was just a
yeah, it was just a 12 that you did out of nowhere, and I was like, well, I can't tell you no, because there you are. I said it takes a 12, and you rolled a 12.
Hey, it was the weird one. It was destined.
And that was
destined.
That was also...
You won't.
That was also why I immediately said, yes, it requires exactly a natural 12 on it, because I wanted to lock Charles's transform down a little bit, because I wanted to give everybody else the room to play something else, to do something else with it. And everybody had ideas. Michelle, you already had your own unique idea with Addie that I thought was great, and I wanted you to play with that. I didn't want you to just go, well, I want to do the same thing that he did. It's like, well, do you, though? You probably want to do something different, right? So...
I was a little nervous about that, to be honest, because like I tried once and I got a big old no, and it's kind of like, well, do I try again? Is that annoying? I don't know.
I mean, I'll let you know if I'd let you know if it wasn't going to work. Saying you have to roll 2 6s on dice is basically saying you have a chance, and I will give you the chance. I won't flat tell you no. However, I'm happy that other people found their other ways to do it, like you said. Like that was the thing I was hoping for, because I think that's more interesting, right?
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I started my character as the Brainiac, the Blue Ranger, well, not blue, as what, Sapphire. So
yeah, Sapphire.
It's blue.
Sapphire blue, yeah.
Yeah. I
don't tell them.
I pretty much just copied Billy, the Blue Ranger, from the first version.
I will tell you right now, it was so hard not to call you Billy this entire time. Every time I was like, and Billy, Oshin.
Also, I'm gonna say this. I'm not sorry about bullying you into the gem color instead of just traditional fucking Roji Biv.
I think it was a good idea.
Because originally James I was like, I'm gold. James was like, no, you're yellow. Like, I'm not gold. I'm not yellow. I'm gold. And then everyone else was like, yeah, we're all minerals. And then I could see James be like, exactly what he's doing now. Fuck.
Yeah.
No, I was like,
And it worked too, because we were rock rangers.
Yeah, it did. And honestly, it was one of those things where I was like, I mean, because then I think, Charles, you were like, I'll be platinum. And I was like, thank you for giving me something else Spectrum to work with. Because I didn't want it to be 4 rocks and also gold.
Sure, right.
But since Charles did the thing that he did, I was like, okay, cool. Then I at least have like a Dino Thunder dynamic where there's 3 of a kind of theming and then 2 that are sort of off but same theming. That I can work with. But yeah.
That was pretty much all I had to go with. And then, as the game went on, he sort of evolved onto his own type of person, I guess.
Yeah, I think that Oishin was much sweeter than Billy ever was.
Oh yeah, 100%. Also,
It might be biased, but
Until the end, because you think that I'm going to let you get away with that
Right?
after credit scene without
What
talking
the
about
hell?
No, I knew. No. I've played with Philip for long enough to know that at some point there's going to be a mad scientist bend.
I just want these head.
Yeah.
I just want these head shields. Don't question it.
Yeah. Oh, Naruto.
Ugh.
Yep.
No, but that was listen,
Yeah,
and
it's great.
honestly, I'm glad that that's a thing because I feel like I cheated you a little bit, Philip, and I want to apologize because everybody kind of had their transformation thing. Yours was a little more subtle and less like focused, like you just being
Okay.
able to robot up
Sure.
Yeah, because he
your
turned
device.
AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was cool because my idea was is that since me and Charles were sort of playing the opposite ends of the
Hmm.
spectrum, since his was a sort of a spirit that was taking over, I thought, well, the next best thing would be a robot, since that is like it's a mechanical spirit, and so it
Hmm.
was going to take over. And then I was thinking of doing it sort of like having like twins, like me fighting, and then the AI being its own full suit. And then
Yeah.
it didn't quite pan out that way, but I still like having the suit being able to do things and interact with other objects is
Hmm.
still a good thing.
Yeah,
Maybe
and I
sort of
thought it was
locked
cool.
behind technology a little bit, and maybe in a second season he would become his own machine or his
Oh, in
own
a second
AI.
Yeah.
season, he's got Lord What's His Face from Gurren Lagann's head in a jar. He's just like, all right, now tell me all your secrets.
But it's definitely an interesting way to go because of, like you said, magic versus technology. And to me, I think magic is more metaphysical, whereas tech is more physical. You touch it, you press buttons. Like, yes, they can connect with each other, but each node of something tech wise is a thing that you can touch. So, like, yours being able to be a thing and mine just taking me over, I thought was a good, like, really good that it was split like that. And
So
then,
I like
we kind of figured out how to combine them a little bit.
it. Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun scene. All right, who else
Um,
wants? Go ahead.
now that my nose isn't leaking like a fountain, gosh, where do I even start?
Icky.
Icky. Uh, I guess personality wise, and we made fun of me for this too. I think Denisha was like, "Ah, you're just playing yourself from high school." There are definitely some big aspects of myself from high school that I stole for Addie, but Addie is the meaner version of what I would have liked to have been in high school, I think, because she doesn't have all of the self-doubt that I had. So she can stand up to the ponytails and just kind of be like, "Fuck you, I don't give a fuck." Where I would just avoid that confrontation entirely. Um, she doesn't have the amazing support system that I had. We were just talking about this. Good job, mom, etc. Uh, she does have her brother, which is something, but somebody who's 2 years older than you can only do so much. Her mom is gone, and we find out that that's for a terrible reason, and her father does not react well to it, so he's no longer a helpful or good influence in her life, and so her walls are way up. So what you get from Addie is like a constant I don't care what you think about me. These walls need to be up, and if you don't like me for it, doesn't matter. This is what keeps me standing upright and feeling okay about myself. Um, which I don't know is interesting to feel out as a character.
Now, I do have a question about Addie, and this is from a watching her as the one running the game perspective. You say she has the attitude of I don't give a fuck. Would you say she actually doesn't give a fuck though?
No, I would say that's completely wrong.
Yeah.
Um, that's what she puts up so that people will leave her alone.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that I did in other ways as a youth.
Right.
I will often, when going down nostalgia lane, point out my constantly wearing black clothing and punching people. That was that was my people leave me alone. Denisha's face right now.
Look.
I okay, so not to make this sad or anything, but in elementary, middle school, I was picked on a lot. So in high school, I looked scary and was scary, so people would leave me alone. And so I took that aspect and put it in her in a different way, I think, or was trying to do that anyway.
I think you did a good job of it.
Maybe. We'll see.
I think Addie's a very compelling character, honestly.
I really like the character that doesn't necessarily get away with being mean, but exist in that mean space with a reason that makes you go, okay, maybe I can forgive them.
And I think there's some characters where it's like flippant, I don't give a fuck, and also that's actually what the character is deep down, is they just don't care about something unless they're focused on it. I think that Addie being a character who is like, I need to be flippant because so many things are going wrong around me that I can't give a fuck. So why would I give a fuck about you? As her shield thing, I think is a really just an intriguing take, because it is a character that is invested in the world around them and the things that are going on. It's just with boundaries that character needed to draw.
Some of my favorite character interactions were there was one with Oishin where I don't even remember what was happening, but somebody was picking on him and she was like, fuck them, who cares? And using harsh language and being mean about it, but the message behind all of that was, you don't need them. They're not important to you. You are better than that. What you are doing is better than them. Don't listen to them.
That was Quiz Talks Math Rocks. You were talking about the other quiz team members.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it.
Because they were playing Goblins of Stavening without him.
So it was fun to find ways to be supportive of other members while masking it completely and not fuck that.
Which is the character the character archetype, the rebel. So, and also, so the Lancer in a show is usually the foil to the protagonist, which is the one who's basically, if the protagonists weren't there, they would be the protagonist. But since the protagonist is there, they're derisive and or critical of everything that goes on around them. They tend to be the cool character, but they tend to be the character that doesn't want to go with the flow of everybody. They want to find their own thing and do it instead. It's usually the Raphael of the Ninja Turtles or the Wolverine of the X-Men.
Yeah, we talked about that briefly. I think I said it 3 episodes from the end. I figured out which red I am. It's Raphael. It's definitely Raphael.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was always my favorite of the turtles when I was younger as well.
Same.
There was something else I wanted to say. I have really bad memory, you guys. I don't know if you know this about me.
You? Nah.
Yeah, this is why all my characters have good memories. Also, that's why I write things down. I don't know, it's gone. What were we talking about?
We were talking about our characters. Basically, what influenced them, what made you make them the way they were.
Oh, okay. In her head, because she is also the secret nerd. I can't let people know that I like comics and video games because they'll judge me for it, even though it's something I like and I shouldn't give a fuck. Which is a little bit funny tangent, because that was kind of reverse of what I finally landed on as a person when I started getting into the anime, and it led me to friends, which 3 of you here are people, 4 actually, all of you really, but early on, Denitra especially, Philip, Charles, people that I ended up being friends with because of things I ended up loving. So it's interesting, I guess, to notice the flip of I latched onto this anime thing, this video game thing, and that brought me friends that were actually genuine friends. Rather, she's hiding that aspect of herself.
Meanwhile, staring down the other characters who actually are into those things, or being very confrontational with Steve when he is openly into those things.
Steve was a different thing.
That was, and that again, Addie and Steve is definitely the two Lancers in a room together aspect of, well, here's 2 pseudo protagonists, put them in a jar and shake it a little and see what happens. They're just like, fuck you, no, fuck you. Yeah.
So she because she is backtracking back to the original point, she is into those things and aware of the role that the quote unquote red is supposed to have, right? In everything, in all of this similar media, the red or the pink or whatever, they're the leader. And she's like, am I supposed to be doing that? I don't know if I can do that. Is that me? And so like that's like always in the back of her head going, I'm supposed to make sure that everybody is okay. That's my job, right? That's what I'm supposed to do? I don't know. So like when they are finally going off into space and trying to do this stuff, her mindset at the time is whatever happens, everybody has to be okay. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to make sure happens.
I don't remember if you remember, but Kenny, I gave you pushback as Kenny for that.
Yeah.
Like the longest time you were like, I don't care, blah, blah, and then you like start caring. Kenny's like, who the fuck are you? Like you,
No,
like,
I remember.
That's not who you. That's not what you do. You don't care. Like, why do you suddenly care?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
She always did, but it's very hidden. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really good lead into Kenny, but like there's that tension there cuz I kind of think of Kenny as like the one who's supposed to be doing the like knight in shining armor good boy protagonist thing, right?
Oh well, yeah, I definitely started off Kenny as like I was like, he'll just be like the dumb himbo character, and then like throughout the thing, I just was like, nah, he's more of just like simple, but like the heart of the team.
Mhm.
He's got the heart ring, and then as things went on, he just I don't know, it kind of morphed into a weird way where he just like was not having fun anymore. Like it was one thing when it was like, oh, we're just beating up some weird guys. Like that's fine. We turn to a big robot, we punch a thing, nobody gets hurt, you know, except for the monsters. Everything's fine. And then like when there were stakes, Kenny was just like, no, this is not good. This is not a good place.
Mm-hmm.
So
He kind of cracked under pressure.
well, and talking about that though, let's start a little earlier. What was the impetus for Kenny? Why did you want to be a good Southern boy?
Honestly, I don't know. Because usually I play like the very dour, serious character, and I was like, so I play like a happy dude. Play like a happy guy who's just there to help everybody.
And then you ended up dour. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know. It's just
You were like, I'll just play something that's not an asshole. Don't be an asshole.
Don't be an ass. Shit, I'm an asshole again.
I think Kenny's reaction to, oh shit, this is the world-ending series absolutely makes sense because he's been all along this time like trying to be upbeat, trying to keep everybody happy together, and then suddenly it's like, oh god, we might die. I'm 17. What the?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because what that symbolizes to me is that Kenny is the character, especially in the finale, who ended up breaking the fourth wall and being like, wait, where the fuck am I? I'm supposed to be a kid.
Mhm.
He's like, what's all this superhero transformation giant robot nonsense that's going on? Aren't we in high school?
It also puts Kenny's, focus on physical. Like there's this triangle here. There's Kenny with physical, there's tech, and there's magic. And the tech and magic people kind of just went, all right, it is real. Cool, I guess we got to do it. And Kenny went, wait, it is real. No, that's not right. Like that shouldn't be the way that it is. Whereas, most everybody else just went, yep, that's what we're doing. So it's
We're
kind
all
of
on
this
board, yeah.
realist, this kind of realism, like what a teen might actually do. Like, yeah, sure, I'm the best at physical things, I'm great at school, but this is a whole nother level, guys. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing? And it was good to have that.
He
And
also,
it's accidental.
It's yours.
Sorry. Well, it's accidental for sure, but like it kind of made sense. It makes sense thinking about it now that like Kenny is very about things that he can change with his hand, like like you said, physical, like things that like I can tangibly hold this, I can fix this, I can build this, I can change this. But like this is something beyond his comprehension, where he's like, I don't know about space aliens, I don't know about magic, I don't know what the hell any of this is. I am officially lost now.
Yeah.
You don't have the computers or the crystals to tell you what the fuck
Yeah.
to do.
I've just got a tool belt in these hands, and neither of those can fix this.
And now you have a buddy that's a bracer.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think wearing your heart on your sleeve through most of the season, like it had an impact on Kenny for a while towards the end. Like, someone who wants to help also sometimes needs help, and it can start to wear on you.
That's a nice way to put that. Someone who wants to help also sometimes needs help.
Which was one of the themes I tried to employ for Kenny's finale.
Yeah. Can't always be the support system. Sometimes you need your own.
Yeah.
You want to bet?
Oh.
All right, look you.
So you think that's gonna change in season 2? You're fucking wrong.
Damn.
He's gonna be gold Batman.
My God.
Talking about season 2 later. Denitra, tell us about your mean girl.
Okay, so as far as like character inspirations, like when I first decided, like I
I mean,
already knew that I was gonna pick
Clueless.
the popular girl. I was just like, you know what?
You were so like hesitant. We're like, just do it. Who cares? Let's go.
Yeah.
I think it was just
Well-
that all of us. Denitra was like, I don't want to bulldoze and pick the thing that I know I want. And everyone's like, Denitra, go ahead and pick the popular. We all know.
And not to like throw you under the bus, but I think you're the one who has the most knowledge of that archetype and whatnot to effectively pull off that character.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because part of it was because I'm about to list a bunch of characters that I used for inspiration, but I also really wanted to be the popular girl in school. And since I did not get that, I put
Wish
it on the
fulfillment.
table. Yeah, exactly. It was
Listen,
like,
we all have, we've all revisionist history at our high school careers, I think, or at least been like, what would this have done? What could this have done? Maybe I'm wrong.
I am constantly talking about alternate versions of myself and how things would have went if this but not this happened. Yeah, it's
Yep,
and
know
not
the
all of
feeling.
them are sad.
Must be nice. Mine are.
Oh.
I'd just like to think, for as awkward and strange and maybe bad choices that I made it out in a way that I'm not upset with. So
There you go.
there's at least that.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
I'll be the normie here. My high school was awesome. Mostly. Yes, just about 100%.
I was
Let me
2 years
just
off, 2
say-
years on, personally.
Hmm.
Let me just say, just this is directed directly to you, Charles. Dating
Fuck you.
Charles in high school when he did not like, so I also got harassed and teased and picked on and bullied in high school, and I in between two high schools actually, because I went to one and then I went to another, and I started dating Charles upon entering that second high school. The kids were okay with him, but they were not okay with me. So that was rough.
My experience with Charles in school, because we went to middle school and high school together, you like didn't necessarily do anything that I ever saw to make people like you, but they just auto liked you.
I don't
So
know.
like bottle that, sell it, and you'll be a millionaire.
Yeah, seriously.
I
Holy
wish I could.
crap.
I don't know. I was just doing things. I was a nerd.
I discovered the secret formula to it, and that was if you have your own interest that you give a shit about, and you openly care enough about those things that you don't have time to give a shit about what everybody else thinks, suddenly they'll just like you. And it's infuriating to me.
I guess that only works for some people. Like you already have to have that high charisma score, because if kids find out you like something that they think is a little weird, oh, that's it.
Yep. Unless you punch them and then they leave you alone.
Yeah, but if there's more of them, yeah, punching one means you're getting beat down. So yeah, no thanks. Wasn't gonna take that chance. So as far as Deja was concerned, I immediately knew she was going to be like Dion from Clueless, but nicer, and
Eventually.
Hillary Banks from like Fresh Prince, but smarter, way smarter, because I was
Oof.
just like, we're not going to do bimbo. We're going to do, affluent black girl from the suburbs, maybe a little bit, what do you call it? parents in a higher tax bracket, whatever. Because while my parents were in like a super high tax bracket, I did have experience being, a kid who lived in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And who was the other girl? Lisa Turtle from Saved by the Bell. So just like those three were my inspirations for Deja because they all dressed well. They all had basically control of the rooms that they were in. Everybody liked them. Even if they didn't like them, they liked them.
That
Had to
is
like them.
essentially the Black Girl Magic Triforce of the 90s.
It is.
Yeah,
And I
no.
wanted that.
Mine.
I wanted the clothes. I wanted the attitude. I wanted everybody to like me. So yeah, I had to pour all of that into Deja, and it was fun. But as the people who watched, and you guys know that I was like, I don't know, I don't want to be too mean because I don't like being mean. I know I'm capable of it, but I don't like it.
Okay.
Shut up.
You only like pretending to be mean.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because like we were discussing before, sometimes that means people won't fuck with you.
Yep.
But if you can't keep up that facade, then unfortunately it just backfires super hard. So, which is why I didn't want to be too mean. I didn't want Deja to be continuously antagonistic to the team, like at all. Like I wanted there to be friendly bands. Like that's why her and Kitty were constantly yelling at each other, despite the fact that they were.
Love that. You
You
guys
two
yelling
being
at
exes
each
was
other.
amazing.
Hilarious.
But they're very close. They care about each other a lot. They're good friends. Like things may not have worked out in the romance aspect, which was
Perfect.
tip on the sheet. Yeah, I was just like,
So just like Kenny yelling at Deja, super, and I hope this isn't weird, reminded me of James yelling at Amy.
Okay.
Just even in the cadence, Denitra, did I kill you?
A little bit, because I didn't think you were gonna bring it up.
I guess I tapped into something subconsciously.
Not to me. I repressed those apparently. But yeah,
like
the shouting matches were
Yeah, I didn't really. What I saw them. Go ahead.
And I don't mean that in like a angry shouting way.
Yeah,
it's like,
no.
Yes, they're shouting, but they still care about each other kind of way.
Yeah, to me, like there is an exact replica of this relationship, and I'm trying to remember it. It's going to take me a little bit, but I'm trying to remember the show's name. Like I'm very bad at that. It's from the 90s as well. The heck was it? It was gosh.
Was it Step by Step, Cody and Dana?
Yes, it was.
Oh, look at you! Wow, good job, James.
This is why I'm the producer.
Yeah, it's like TGIF, I think. Yeah, and it was that will they, won't they? No, they won't. But maybe they might. They have like a chance. No, they don't like what they do like each other. No, I don't think they do. It's that.
Yeah.
It's not
I
really
still
a
don't
will they,
know,
won't
and I love that I don't know. I do. This is a tiny tangent, but I love the secrets that we've kept from each other to make the little twists and turns interesting here.
Mhm.
Not just James keeping the story from us, but like each of us keeping shit from each other.
Oh yeah, I was constantly like DMing other characters.
Especially
like,
you, yeah.
No, Denitra, I saw the work you were doing in the background, and it was great. You would just go to someone and be like, we need to have a moment together doing something. And they're like, all right, yeah, I'm down. And then she would come to me and be like, is it okay if we do this? I'm like, yes, of course it is. Why would I say no to that?
We came up with a thing for the last episode that we never used, so I guess we'll have to use it in season 2.
Exactly.
And let me just be clear. I don't mind secrets being kept from me. if you think that I can make it better by being a part of it, I'd like to help enhance where I
And
can.
that's why I told you every single time.
Oh yeah, and that's why when you told me those things, I would say, and now we have an interaction. I'm going to make it these two characters, just to be like, there you go.
And it worked
I
out
have a whole
swimmingly.
speech that I wrote on my phone that I never used.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Probably never will, but
Maybe. Was there anything that, if looking back now, that you felt you would have changed about your character going in, or started with your character sooner?
no.
What do you mean?
Like, you come up with a character archetype, and then as you're playing the game, you go, oh wait, I'm actually more this.
No, I think I did that for the most part. I was able to like slowly like change the way Oishin worked. The biggest one that I noticed is that originally, excuse me, sorry, is
Couldn't
that
hear it.
we would get into like a fight, and wouldn't know who was going to go first or like what kind of attack we were going to do, stuff like that. It would always be a bit like, do you want to go? I could go. You want to? And then it got to the point where Oishin was like, the fights would start like midway through the first season. Like he would like, okay, I'll go first. And then when he was transformed, he always went first. I tried to always attack first, and I almost never used the 411 in my suit. If I was still Oishin, I did. I was still like kind of like timid and whatever. But once I was in the suit, like in my head, that was the actual AI, not the AI, but the person in the suit. They were the aggressive one. They were the one who was driving Oishin to do these things. And so there was like a slow but definite shift in who was in control as the season went on.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
And
That way,
conversely, I'll say that Aaron, before you, was the first one throwing the punches usually. And then I think that, and this might be because of the way that I started framing the battles. Kenny slowly fell off into going defense mode first to be able to take shots for folks.
Mm-hmm. I did that heavy hardcore in the last couple of episodes as well. Like I said, on the way to on the railgun shot on the way to the moon or the asteroid. Your thoughts were okay. Got to make sure everybody's all right, and it actually panned out almost accidentally. That's ended up what happened, and it also helped a lot through the rebel archetype, just being able to get back HP and being like, I'm actually all right, and it helped a lot that my mom didn't want to punch me.
That's true. Let's see. I do want to. So that was characters, and that I'll save that for later in the actual breakdown of characters.
Okay, I was gonna say, do we have more about characters? Because we can't leave without talking about the other two.
Oh yeah. Does anybody else want to? Wait. Oh, the other two? You mean the other two players?
Green and gray.
Yeah. Okay, we can talk about them real quick. He was kind of a gray, like gunmetal or something.
Yeah. So our buddy Ro, also named James, who played the Green Ranger, part of the Australian Slap Force team.
He's a real Australian, guys. We imported him just for this.
Yeah, and their magical mineral was Australium, which fuck you, James.
Listen,
didn't Charles make that up?
Yeah, remember that their spin is opposite, and that's why they're so attractive to women.
Yeah, yeah. That is an Elijah fact that I now have to have be canon.
Also, isn't Australium like the thing they're trying to fight for in Team Fortress 2?
I don't know. I never played that one.
I think so. I think it's like some magical mineral they're all fighting over.
Makes sense. I'm sure there is actually an Australium somewhere, but I don't care. That's not what this is. And if you think that the mineral is going to be called anything but Australium when it's an Aussie Power Ranger team, you're nuts.
Yep. It's a fictitious metal, Australium.
Yep.
And then so he joined us. The Green Ranger joined us in our summer or winter
snowboarding.
Break episode?
Yeah, snowboarding episode.
Yeah, the field trip episode.
We all went to the mountains to ski, and he was the cool kid on a snowboard.
Yeah. And he did a lot of investigating with you all, integrated pretty well with the team, is going to go out with Deja on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
If it ever shows up that Sunday. The like love triangle, it had to be there.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, I'm gonna break your heart a little bit. There's no love triangle there.
No, there is, because you're in a bromance.
Oh, I guess that love triangle, yeah, maybe.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Teen emotions are fun regardless.
Listen, that's not gonna work out either because he broke the bro code of bros before hose.
There was no hose in the equation.
Okay, Deja.
And then we had our space cop.
Mm-hmm. Your secret space cop that I basically made into essentially a common writer. Monty, who played with us for a session and a half-ish. 2 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2, yeah, I think.
I'm super suspicious of the space cop.
That's crazy.
Like,
Why are you upset about the idea that I made a character that had a completely separate personality that was able to drive? That's other places in the show too. Charles can do that.
Yeah,
You could
exactly.
do that. To a lesser extent, Philip does that.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
It's just amazing to me
levers,
that
hits smoke
Elijah
guns.
and he never interacted.
Yeah.
Not once. The actual alien.
Yep.
Not once.
You're
And
too
I
busy
was
getting
trying
an
to keep it
appearance.
that way. Yeah.
I did think
I
it was
trying to keep that way.
hilarious on the just to throw back a little bit on the like at least 2 of the episodes that other James joined us. Denitra was not here, so we did not get that solid green, purple / pink interaction.
It was pretty heavily done when it was available though, and that was through no small amount of Denitra's manipulation.
Man, I was so sick those times that I missed. I was just like, yeah, I'm totally gonna go. Hold on. I caught a mild case of death. I will not be joining us for the game today. Ugh.
It's understandable.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know about you guys, but as a 10 to 15-year-old girl, those were like the parts I lived for in the action adventure shit.
Yeah.
The little relationship moments.
The itty bitty, like Denitra will
Sprinkles.
probably echo me here. Like even in Dragon Ball Z, like some of the most interesting shit is Vegeta Bulma. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, more on the Bulma side, honestly, too.
Look, Vegeta
Uh-huh.
Is a lancer.
Is a Lancer. Yeah.
Proud to be amongst the ranks.
But no, I'm not gonna launch into some sort of Vegeta rant. But
This
he's
time.
a cool
It's
character.
not appropriate for this show.
Yeah, no, not for this show. I mean, give me time later, and I probably will.
And we got to shoot the shit. We can have a Lancer episode.
Yeah. I will say it's funny, though, because when all is said and done, you guys did not have a hero protagonist character.
Nope.
No, not really.
Nope.
We don't have a leader
No.
type.
Like, that was fun, because, like, Kenny's the heart, but doesn't really take charge. Addie is almost the Red Ranger, but holds back from doing it even though she kind of thinks she should be. Deja has very strong opinions. Elijah is very much in tune with the magic parts of things and has plans. I almost said Billy again. Fuck me. Oshin is so timid. So
Nothing from him.
altogether, none of you actually stood out front on your own as like the overarching person, like a Jason or like a Tommy.
Yeah, I purposely did not want that. Like,
Yeah.
like on the personal level, I was just like, I don't want to play leader. I just want to play this character and in a group.
I kind of wondered if none of us wanted to take that step because that would take away from other people in a way.
That's part of the reason why I didn't want to do that, because I'm just like, like I said, it's supposed to be a team. The focus is supposed to be on the team. Like,
I was a little bit nervous having my character's mom play such an integral role, being like, oh God, am I going to take up too much screen time?
I think it went
No.
fine.
nah, it's look, every character, there when there's like arcness, there's always like that focus on,
Mhm.
one or two characters. So yeah, that's just the natural progression of thing. It didn't seem like you were, becoming the focus just because, one of our major antagonists was your character's mom.
Right.
I think that also has to do with a good balancing job on James's part. Like,
yeah.
everybody had a really, like, this is the episode about them. Addie didn't necessarily end up having that, but that's because she has a little bit here and there everywhere.
Yeah, no, Addie's episode was the one where she learned about her mom.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but it was your episode.
Yeah. No, but so that's the thing is because I had that secret laid out so far in advance, I wanted that to definitely get some heavy precedent. And so I intentionally made it so that everybody else got their flavor episode before you, because I wanted that to settle. And I wanted to also make sure that it worked and have stuff in place, give enough foreshadowing, things like that. So
yeah, there were definitely little bits of foreshadowing that made me go, hold on a minute. Just like in case it wasn't clear, we haven't said it before. That's not my idea. I did not come up with that. That was all James. So that was a surprise to me too.
I could probably do a supercut of our episodes at some point to show every single little moment like they do on Critical Role, where it was like, for example, you were like, here's what happened to my mom. And I was like, actually, can I steal that from you? And that was episode 0. I was like, I have something I want to do for that. Do you mind giving that to me for trust? And you were like, okay. And I was like, great. Perfect. Brewing heartache. Speaking of other characters, was there any characters that particularly stood out to you guys that were the ones that I ran?
Natasha
Natasha was great, right?
I
Natasha was
enjoyed
great.
watching you do a little teeny Russian accent.
It's like Austro-European something that I was doing that I just tried my best not to make sound French. I think I mostly succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get slipped a little escargot in there, but it's okay.
I did.
Oh!
I mean, the trick is I was intentionally. It started out bad because I'm bad at it, but after I actually can hit a rhythm, I can pretty much do a decent mimic of just like a nebulous accent. But I constantly tried to keep myself throwing weird little unsyncs from it because I wanted the character to be played by an actress who was not foreign. Much like you would see in those shows where it's like, you can like do an accent, right? And she was like, oh, yes, I can do an accent. It is fine.
No, like close enough. You're
Yeah.
getting paid $50.
They're like, we're shooting tomorrow. So yeah, you're in.
Yeah, here's your $50.
I'm not sure I had a favorite. They all seem to have their own little bits and pieces of them that made them feel real, that made them sort of able to connect to me and to the other players. So I'm not sure. I liked all of them. I thought you did an excellent job, like making them seem connected. I don't know how much of a backstory you actually put to any of these characters, how many of these people you had tied previously, but they seemed really strong.
I tried to go out of my way to at least make sure that the guest star of the episode I had some forethought into, because that's going back to structure for these kinds of shows is you have one focal guest star that you're typically doing. And I was playing the Sailor Moon card where it's like, here's the character that's not drawn like all the others and they're going to turn into a monster later.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
To throw it back to Natasha just a little bit, I like that with her, Deja and Kenny had a similar interaction to the whole like, oh, your new girlfriend, but you guys chose to avoid the actual real trope. I found that interesting.
Yeah, because the real trope is kind of dumb, especially
very dumb.
Especially since Deja and Kenny were not a couple. Like the only reason why Deja was like feeling weird about it is because she's protective of Kenny because she still cares for him.
You all actually did the actual IRL thing of I look like I'm jealous, and I am jealous, but of your time because you're my friend, not because it's one of those, well, they're going off to spend time with that person instead of me. That hurts.
Yeah, it's like, it hurts. I know I shouldn't be hurt, but I'm a teenager and I can't express myself.
That's not limited to just teenagers either. I'm a human being.
If I know anything about teenagers, it's that everything that they say, they 100% mean in the moment, and it's definitely accurate to their later thinking about it.
It was definitely not 90s at all. We stepped on that trope and said, "Nah, get out of here. It's gross."
Yeah, that's good because I really do appreciate that for all the moving forward. Like things that I notice about you all's characters is that Elijah really just started embracing the minute he's like, it's real. He was just immediately like, and now I'm going to play with it, and that plays into metagame a little bit, but also that's a fun character of the one who's just
didn't come across that way.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I what I'm saying is like Charles being someone who is so proficient with game systems, it works well for him to use that as a character trope.
It's interesting though, because with this system, there really is no power gaming on purpose. There's nothing that you can really do other than everything when you are a brainiac and weird when you can just start rewriting the world. And you could get real mean about it too. Like you could just be like, oh yeah, that doesn't work. What do you mean that doesn't work? Well, you said I could change one thing. So I was really careful not to go overboard and only help the team, not Elijah.
I changed one thing, and it is that asteroids don't exist in this universe.
I mean,
checkmate, producer.
even if producer says no, you can't do that, that's tension that isn't about the game that you should leave out of the game, right? Don't overextend, because then we have to deal with it. You know, like if I was like, oh yeah, well, we're on the asteroid, I teleport us all home.
Yeah, you could have done that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but why would I? Like that just ruins everybody else's time. Or some people might want that, just like I'll awaken everyone's powers. I think I could, but I'm not going to.
I blow up the boat and everyone's dead.
Exactly, right? That's something that I'm always careful about when I'm playing D&D. I never play the main character, and I never will. It's just, I don't want to do that.
You're slowly becoming the main character. We're pushing you towards the front of the main character in Splinters of Faith.
No, he's the face, but it's more fun to watch everybody else deal with people, and then for him to come in and smooth it over if need be. It's like, no, you go ahead, go off. Oh, they're mad. I'll come in. Hey, we didn't mean it that way. Sorry.
What I had meant was.
Yeah, what I had meant was. But yeah, it's interesting that you cannot really metagame the system, not too much. So
the system by nature is broken. Like
yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to talk about the system a little bit later, but yeah, it's interesting because as far as the way we played it versus the system itself, it was more the way we played it that set our rhythm.
Yeah. Like the rules almost didn't matter.
Yeah. Speaking of which, actually, the next thing on the list was the system. Does anybody have any more character stuff they want to talk about real quick? I just want to say, just
Forever.
going.
Diamond cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. You look like you had something.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
I liked the work you did with the parents. The individual parent stuff was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was pretty proud of that. I feel like I didn't use it as much as I could have down the road, but it certainly was something that was, and that's something that I don't know if I said while on camera, is that for that parents episode, I went and I had a conversation with each of you, for anybody watching, to talk about who your parents were, what they meant to you, and how you felt about them, so that when we did that episode, I had a better, more accurate poll for all the parents and how they would feel. I think it worked.
It did.
Yeah.
And also because in these kinds of shows, like a lot of times you can really spotlight a good parent character because teens. So
Yeah. Yeah, because teens are like the worst kids to try to raise.
You think you're a real adult person now, but you're not yet.
But you're not. Yeah, sorry, your brain's still not growing or finished growing.
your brain's not growing. And
Not at all.
and they don't stop coming. And they don't stop coming.
Oh my god.
I did end up liking the progression of the interaction with Addie and Diamond.
Sure, yeah.
The whole, I'm suspicious of you, and I really should have been. And now you have to think about that because you fucked us over. But I guess I forgive you.
As is the case with these types of shows, it is definitely the kind of thing where even in an interaction with an adult, the teen character who is the primary character sets the pace of the conversation, which almost never happens in real life.
Yeah. Well, it was, I guess, just one more thing. When it came to light what her mom had done, comparing that to what Diamond had done definitely changed the paradigm of
I'm not giving you attitude today.
That's fine. That's fine. Just, one thing compared to the other. It's like, I was so mad at you, but really it wasn't that bad in comparison to this person who I'm really supposed to love. And oh my gosh, what have you done, Mom?
Yeah. So with that, I'm going to let talking about the narrative marinate a little bit, and we should talk about this system. So how did everybody feel about Teens with Attitude?
I felt like we had a rough start. Like the first couple episodes were like, how does this work? What do I do? Who goes next? And I think it showed probably the most in the character interactions. But once we like felt it out and understood our characters a little better, I felt like there was a big jump from to yeah.
I feel like that's trying a new system at all for anything really is you gotta like feel out, and also you gotta feel out everybody else. Yeah. You could be totally ready, and if you're like trying to engage something like this is not my character, I'm like too cool for that. It's like okay then.
Well, and it helped that Michelle and Philip, you had already played the system a little bit. Charles, I believe you just grasped Powered by the Apocalypse pretty fast.
And before we played this, I would have grasped it and drowned it in a bathtub because I hate it. Like rules light systems, I do not like them. I just don't. That's just me.
That's fair.
But based on like our first episode or two, like struggling to feel it out, I understand why for sure.
Yeah, the whole like just so free form, just like, well, what do you want to do? Well, what are my options? Tell me what you want to do.
You want.
Yeah. Anything you want to do can probably be boiled down into these like 3 topics. So tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you which dice to roll.
Yeah. The blessing and the curse of Powered by the Apocalypse is it's so rules light that anybody can pick it up as long as the person running it understands the moves well enough. The difficulty is if the players don't know what they can do and don't quite understand that they just, they're supposed to be just stating things out loud, it's really hard to get a pacing started for the players because it's choice paralysis, because you could literally just do things. And not only can you, I can't, Teens with Attitude doesn't have the same thing that like Powered by the Apocalypse does, where I do soft moves and hard moves back against you all.
Sure, yeah.
Which is a thing.
Retaliate.
Yeah, like I get to be opened up to switching the scene back up, and I just started doing that basically because I felt like the problem that I have with Teens with Attitude is the fight part of it, the kick some butt. Kick some butt has a very easy way to do it. You roll more than a 10 and you always punch and take no damage. And if you do that, there are no stakes in the game because you'll be fine. I can't attack you on my own in the game as it is proper. So
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I interrupted Denisha. What were you gonna say?
The system's easy, so it was okay for a baby brain like me.
I This is a topic for one plus one shoots the shit. The choice paralysis of not having options, it is not good for a combat game. It's great for all the other stuff. It is not good for a combat game. Having no ranges, not knowing where people are, is great because you don't have to think about it. But I think just even a little bit of that, and like being able to swap places with your friend and like, that sort of thing, gives you a toolkit that you go, I understand this, I will pick my thing. And it's interesting that Rules Light is always presented as, oh, you can do anything, it's great for everybody. No, it's not. If you don't know what you want to do, not having a list makes you go, I don't know, I'll just go last. Like, and we saw that with a few people who were new to the system in some episodes where they would just go, I'm just going to wait. Okay, now I might do something. And sometimes they would miss their turn completely and we would just keep going. No fault of anybody's. It's just that it makes it a little weird. But once we got like through the first couple and you started to just go, I don't care about the rules, I'm just going to do whatever I want and make it cinematic, that's when it was like, okay, see, now this is the way the system should have been, I think.
Yeah, it's really funny to look back and see, because when we first started this, it was we very originally started it without the structure, and the way that the game works is there are no turns. You all decide who does something, and then dependent on how that works, I either do a basically soft move or hard move back, which in this system is represented by consequences for your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, in a fight, Michelle could just go every time. That could just be the whole fight. It's just Michelle fighting and everybody not doing anything.
Watching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's powered by the apocalypse as written. And so I made it so that there was more of an initiative structure. So it's like you all can choose who goes when in the turn, but everybody gets one turn, and then the bad guy does something. And then everybody gets a turn, and the bad guy does something. And if the bad guy does something and there's not someone there to block it, then you're going to take damage.
Yeah. I think, and it's evidenced by the fact that I think if you go through all of the episodes, like Elijah, because I never really attacked anyone, I took like 3 points of damage the whole game until the finale, I want to say. Because it was just like, okay, I'll just be back here, do 411. Nobody could do anything.
And then you use your 411 to lock the enemy down for a turn or two.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I mean, that's fine. You're not a combat character, so you shouldn't get the things, but then you don't get into danger, really. So it's kind of interesting in that.
Yeah. I think there's more refinement that I would do to make the combat more interesting, because it does still boil down to like one of you at any given point was like, I'm going to be the one to hold back to take the hit. And that's not exactly fun, but also I don't want everybody to just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I wanted to give the option of reacting to those monster attacks, when really what I probably should have said is just go ahead and I'll do your turns and then I'm just going to swat you all.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like being given the option to block was nice.
Yeah.
Because it definitely saved us in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There were a couple times where people would have been totally effed.
That's true. And I'm glad that I was actually able to strain the HP using extra rules, but I definitely had to use extra rules to do that.
Yeah, without that.
In the game proper, like, first off, transforming makes no sense for the mech in rules as written, because basically what you're saying is rather than all of us getting our own individual turns for the same amount of damage, we're going to get into our mechs and do the same amount of damage as if we had our weapons out. And then we can combine into the super mech, which is basically just for the final attack, because you're usually going to hit anyway. So getting into the super mech and getting the auto hit is not exactly the rewards for the abilities in this game are not as strong as I would like them to be for certain parts of it.
They're all just a thematic theme. Like it doesn't the damage you deal with your hands or the weapon compared to the Zord, or sorry, the giant mech, doesn't matter because it's all just you're gonna hit, and the producer's gonna decide like, okay, you've got 2 hits in and it's dead. Doesn't matter how much damage, doesn't matter what you're dealing it with. It's just meant to be this, like, at least in my head, that's how I saw it. It was always thematic. It was always just you're telling a story. There's no math. There's no need
Mhm.
to figure out like, oh, you've almost killed it. It's like, no, it's just how long do we want this to go? The
Yeah,
TV
exactly.
show, if the TV show was longer in the story, then the fight was just a like one quick slash and they died and they
Yep.
moved on. And if they
Mhm.
didn't, then it was a long drawn out fight. And that's
Yeah.
like that was all that determined it. That somehow the weapon changed damage in different episodes.
Yeah.
It definitely reflected the television show really well, but I don't know if it reflected good combat very well. I did feel like the last couple of combats where we were actually going, oh, are we about to die?
Mhm.
You found a system, a pacing for it that was much more satisfying.
I definitely feel like I'm gonna phrase it, the trap / puzzle system that I put at the back of it. I liked that a lot. I especially liked Titanium. I want to get you guys feedback. The Titanium fight was the coolest one, right?
Yeah, probably. I think.
Yeah.
It's
That was
In the,
challenging.
in the
fun.
titanium room.
Yeah.
The whole room was covered in it, yeah.
No, that was
No, I
That
mean
was
the one
Platinum.
that you got to the
in
rock
the Mecca,
on.
the first
That
one.
one. Yes, the very first one. Okay, sorry.
The one where I almost died.
Yeah. You got punched into
Punched us apart.
pieces.
I got ejected, like I got fucking front end collisioned in a car going 60 miles an hour out of my mech.
And it was, it was only because of the things that you added that have no basis in the rules, because there's no rules to make combat more interesting. Because in general, rules light systems are a reaction. They're not usually like, at least traditionally, it came as a reaction with people who are like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that first edition, second edition D&D stuff. No, we're cooler. We're going to make it easier. And they kind of miss out on what gives you the juice of combat. It's not like, oh, there's too many numbers. It's what can I do and what will it do? I don't care about numbers. Nobody cares about numbers. It's, hey, how much damage did he do to us? Doesn't matter unless we're dead. The cool shit that he could do, knock us out of our suit, be invulnerable. That's cool stuff. Yeah, don't focus on the numbers. Focus on the theme. And a lot of rules light systems just go combat. Nope. Too much for my brain. Just gonna do little stuff. And it's like, but you could do so much more because your rules light. You can make that so easy that we could have 1,000 abilities if we wanted to. I know maybe that's too many, but just
I'm not going to keep track of them for you. As long as you can keep track of them, go off.
Right, but if it was like, a rebel who is a ranger gets these things too, like, because I think the few abilities that we got were cool and they were fun to use, but like barely. You know what I mean? Like, can you even remember what your abilities were?
Yes,
Yeah.
but only the one.
Yeah. Right.
You had two
Only the
that
one that
you
you
used.
Yeah, I do. I had the
the-
HP one, and then the one where if I think Reckless went into battle
or something.
alone and did a crazy stunt, and I rolled well, then I got like extra attitude or something. Oh, 1 extra point of damage.
I wooed.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Got your armor.
It's just, if there were more of those that actually had that effect in combat, if there were, narrative and combat ones that you still only have a total of 7 or 8, then that would be cool. Like, you've already separated narrative and combat, just keep doing it so that you can make both of them as good as they need to be.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
the thing about Powered by the Apocalypse is it really does, in most of its instances, de-emphasize dealing, and in most games it's called harm. And harm is like a very low to the ground bolt-on number that is like, most enemies have 3 harm, but they have armor or they have some other thing, and it's more like like you all were saying, the narrative pacing of it. You hit the monster this many times and you're going to win the fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you rolled a 20 or you rolled a 10 on your damage.
Yeah, just like the 90s, we're hitting the enemies and waiting until they flash red from 6 hits, and then they die. That's it.
Yeah, but you have to watch out because they start just clipping through and ignoring invincibility frames and all sorts of other shit because they got to get them quarters.
But I think to end all of that I just ranted about rules light systems, and I do still hate them. I'm just going to say that. This one worked really well once we started to personalize it and make it work for what we needed it to do. And I think that's just the learning there is that, yeah, fuck it, just do what you want. Like rules light, rules heavy, rule of cool, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone doesn't
100%.
understand a rule, don't use it or help them. Like what's the issue? I don't know.
Like I would like something more interesting and robust for attitude.
Sure, yeah.
What you mean, like just how to get it or what to do with it, or?
I'm not sure because the thing that I did notice about it was that when it came to play, people would sit on their attitude and hold on to it until the very end and then basically just shotgun it at whatever was the encounter. But it's supposed to feel like this thing that you're trading back and forth constantly, like pennies into a till. And I understand that it was supposed to be like that more, and I don't know if it was because like I wasn't doing enough out of combat challenging things to you all or what it was. I think it might even just be like it was a fun little add-on that was an idea of you trade these points in to do your ranger things. And
I feel like some of it also was, you can use attitude to fix a role, but a lot of the social roles, for me personally, it was more fun to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it was like, oh yeah, I could totally spend 3 attitude and then just look like a cool guy, but I was like, or I could just look like a dork. I could just fuck up the social interaction and then take the negative stat and just roll with that.
Yeah.
And I do think the negative stats were interesting. I really wish I had utilized them a little bit more, like, systemically. They were fun to, like, grant when I granted them, but I feel like I should have had them be more of a, like, obvious this will happen thing.
Sure. I like the kiss curse way that it was used later on, especially for Elijah. I could take some condition and do something. And I think that if that was codified too, like, oh, well, you want to do something outside of, whatever, spend an attitude and also take a condition.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. And then it would make you clear those conditions with your friends more often because we were supposed to keep it real, which I think we did like twice, at least in the episodes that I were in. And when combat's so nebulous, the one thing you have control over completely is when you spend attitude. I'm going to keep it. It's my elixir. It's my get out of jail. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to build it up and I'm going to hoard it.
Potions for the last fight. Yeah.
I think that
we're just going to keep it.
The other thing about it too is that you must have at least 3 attitude to get to the finale. You have to in any episode because you have to transform, you have to get your weapon, and you have to go into your mech. And then 4. And then you have to transform into the Megazord. So it was one of those things where it's like this system is encouraging you to spend these points, but also it's not like there are a few character playbooks that have like tricks to just like farm attitude, like the popular. Holy crap, how terrifying that was, where it's like I can just read you for filth and get 3 attitude.
Yeah, every time.
I can do that if I succeed. If I fail, I still get 2.
Yep.
So, I mean, like but I thought that was well designed. There was a lot of really interesting and well designed parts of the system. I think that there were a lot of light areas and or gray areas that were in it too, that I tried to add more to stand out for our group. I think it's a perfectly reasonable system as a fun sit down and play every so often, or just have a mini campaign. But I do think that for long form, it needs to have a little more beef to it because.
Because you look at leveling, because you mentioned before that, we had to stretch it out. You look at leveling and you go, well, that's it?
Yeah,
okay. That's fine.
You can do 8 things, I think, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. 8. Yeah, on your ninth, quote unquote, ninth level up, you retire.
Yeah,
that's it.
And there's almost no reason other than to like stretch something out like one episode as we're doing a 2-parter. Every episode every game is pretty much a level up. Like
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
do enough of the things. So it's like, yeah, this is a 2-month game.
Yeah.
You do
Yeah.
it for 2 months, you have fun, and then it's done.
Or
Yeah.
you have it be where one of the Rangers retires a little earlier, and you go into what is essentially a Cthulhu loop of characters rotating in and out,
Mhm.
which I think was the intention, because it's
Probably. Yeah.
as like an idea of your character has to retire because your actor's getting old. And I did like a lot of the pseudo narrative harmony that I tried to get into the game, but I don't know that it landed well enough. Like I kind of tried to shoehorn it in at the end with like giving you guys like producer power over the final episode at certain points,
see,
or
yeah.
trying to make it so that it's like you're your character, you're also your actor. And I like
Yeah.
that concept, and I kind of want to play with it more if we go forward, just because I feel
Yeah.
like that would be like an interesting like backroom mechanic for the game
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, that makes it less light in the ways that it needs to be, but not less light in the ways that they intended. It's still easy to grasp. It's still easy to like just make a character right now and all together and get that feel. But then there's just that extra something in the background to go, oh, okay, cool. There's another layer here.
There's a back room. There's a fourth wall that you can walk through and be like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like I would say at this point that Kenny's actor's in contract negotiations, and it's showing through on set.
Yeah.
I don't even need to be here. They're like, what if we give you a big bull? He's like, maybe.
Okay. So
anyone-
which actor was getting secretly paid more than the others? Like who was the one who's been in another show before? So they got a little bit more money, and
I would have to say, from the way that I wrote this season, it's probably Addie.
Yeah.
Because Addie got more, not more screen time, but more writing
personal-
privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was definitely the crew knew they need to keep her happy. The cast wanted to keep her there to keep the show going.
Yeah.
People tuned in for Addie.
I
Have
mean,
you guys seen Asteroid City, new Wes Anderson movie?
No,
No.
I've heard about it though, and I think I know what you're gonna say. Like
Yeah,
that, yeah,
It's a movie about a play about a movie.
yeah.
Or maybe I had
Fun.
that backwards. But anyway,
that sounds
So,
so
like-
West
The producers?
Jesus.
so yeah, they actually like there are times in the movie where like they talk about how the movie was made, but it's still part of the movie. So like
Yeah.
who is it? Is it Matt? No, Edward Norton. Edward Norton is the writer of the movie. And so there are parts with Edward Norton where he's talking about creating this, and then it cuts back to the movie that is Asteroid City, and then there's a part where they
Yeah.
go and they're like doing this on Broadway, and they like leave stage and do other, and the camera follows them off stage and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Mhm.
an interesting
I
for
think
season 2.
I think it'd be fun. It's one of those things where I would need to work with you all to actually basically kind of make a backup character, essentially,
make a
that
second
is
character. Yeah.
We get to have you seen what is it, Extras, where it was Ricky Gervais's show? They would
Sounds
bring
familiar.
in like
Yeah.
famous
Yeah, they'd
people.
bring a famous person in as a detective or something. Is that the one?
No. They would bring in a famous person, and so Ricky Gervais would be the extra in whatever movie. And then anytime he would interact with the person, the actual actor would get to play whatever version of themselves they wanted. So, like when the guy who plays Picard, I can't remember his real name,
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, he's on the show, and so he's doing it's like some like Broadway thing, and he's going to be Hamlet or something, and he's
Which
like,
he has done.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Patrick Stewart, you're amazing. Can I give you this script? And he was like, oh, okay. And then he just plays like a really like lecherous old man. Like that's who he really
Oh!
is. Like that's who Patrick Stewart
Yeah.
is.
I have
so
seen this interview, quote unquote, that he does, where he's like, I've got an idea for a script.
And then one with the guy from Harry Potter, and he's just like he's really trying to have sex. Like he's just carrying around like an unwrapped condom in his pocket. And Ricky Gervais is like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I got to be ready. And he'll just like pull it like it's unwrapped and unrolled like out of his pocket. He's like, I'm ready to go. And then he'll put it back. Like it's just playing. The actors are playing themselves, but really weird. So
Yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that. I was just gonna say that the type of like. I don't know if it's actually ludonarrative harmony. No, because it's not having to do with the game system. It is kind of having to do with the game system.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because the thing that is interesting, the extra thing that is interesting about all of these shows was the fact that all of these child actors were essentially extras that were bolted into a thing so that we could be sold toys.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, none of them had to be there for that to be the case, because
any one of them could be replaced at any moment.
Well, because none of them actually had to be there to shoot any of the action shots or any of the monsters or any of the anything. That was all stock footage that already existed.
Well, they had some things where they were fighting, like at the dojo.
Yeah, they'd fight the putties, but anybody can do that.
Oh yeah.
And that was the idea, I think, is that when the big three kind of went and said, "Hey, pay us better." And I don't even know if that was actually what happened. I would need to actually look it up to be not just going based off of the hearsay of the internet. But like when all three of them left the show for one reason or another all at once, it was one of those things where it was like, oh yeah, in fact, this works better because now we've set a precedent that we can just do this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Where it only the Billy stayed for like 3 seasons or something, but he wasn't a fighter anymore. Bulk and Skull stayed
Yeah.
from high school
Forever.
to college.
Yeah, and they're
and then they had
cops now.
jobs. Yeah. And so they were, other than like that, they just sort of like rolled them through. All the Power Rangers just showed up and left, showed up and left.
Yeah. And I think that as sad as it was for them to do that to those actors, at the same time, it really did help the staying power of the show itself because they were able to do something like that and set the idea of doing it.
I bet they probably became like executive producers or something. Like Blue Ranger, Billy was a executive producer by the
He
time.
was-
and he was like, "I'm not leaving. I'm
He became
paying
a
you."
writer. Yeah.
Is that like what happened to Triple H?
Yeah.
Well, he married into it. That's right. He married into it.
He married into it, and then he married into it.
Yeah, I was like, they're actually married. He married into it.
Yeah, but then they wrote a whole thing about it, which is great, but dumb, but great.
Mhm.
Don't get us started on that.
No kayfabe. But that's actually what it is. It's basically like the idea of kayfabe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what's actually the show and what's actually behind the show that's happening. So that's an idea I have, and I don't know, that'd take a lot of work to get off the ground, and it would basically be a brand new system bolting in. So, but those are thoughts that I've had on the system as we've been playing it. Did anybody have anything else that they liked or disliked that they felt could use some polish or not?
It wasn't really a mechanic, but I thought the scene towards the end was really good. About like when the
producer did the thing,
pretty much fourth wall. Yeah,
That was fun.
I thought that was a nice scene.
Okay.
Mhm.
I was worried that would come off as really fucking weird, so I'm glad that was well received by the cast.
No, in fact, it made me think of James, I know you remember this. You remember those weird live action concerts that the Ninja Turtles used to do?
Yes, I had coming out of your shell.
Why would you bring that up even?
Well, so the Ninja Turtles had actual like interviews and whatnot.
It was mostly April talking for them, but yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of made me think of that. Oh man,
That sounds like an insult when you put it like that.
It wasn't an insult.
I'm taking it the way that I think Denitra's meaning it. It's fair. And we all kind of remember the live action show a little. We don't remember it fondly necessarily because Venus de Milo was a whole thing, but...
Wait, there was actually a live action Ninja Turtles show?
Yes. Look,
Nope,
Venus was a great character. Well, she was an okay character. I'm glad she was included. The show was a little weird. The suits looked a little...
It was not Henson Production Company quality.
Not at all.
I didn't have an issue with the scene. I thought it was a cool scene, but and you probably know this. I'm a little bit more of a reactionary character than a hey, I have this idea, which is not true anymore. But it's at the time I was like, I have no idea what I want to use this to rewrite, and so I didn't even use that.
I know.
don't think.
But that's okay, because I think it could pay off later down the road if everybody is interested in having more of that integration of basically the backroom set side of it. Because like the nebulous go-between of, for example, Chroma Squad, I really enjoyed that when I played that game. I don't know how many people here actually played it. I think Ro did. But it
Tassus did, I
I
believe,
heard
right?
of it.
yeah,
A little
Aaron,
bit. I
Yeah.
didn't get super far into it. I don't know why. Just scheduling made me
Yeah.
put it down.
I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed the way that they played with the narrative where they're like, so it's real, but so is being a show. The being a show is also real. And I liked having both of those kind of sit side by side with each other. It's like you're making duct tape helmets, but also you are fighting aliens.
Yeah.
That's most of what I had on the system. Anybody else got system stuff to talk about?
I like it. I think it's a cool system. Yeah, the choice paralysis is real, but I think a couple sessions in, you get to know the people. I felt it goes away, but
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I really liked being able to just be like, what do I think is cool? I want to do this kind of an attack. I want to run in and do a Superman punch because I think it seems cool. And do I succeed? Nope, I get punched back. Ah, damn. Okay.
Yeah. I will always differ on it because I just want that cool thing to do something different and to have rules so then you can go, oh yeah, I want to do that one or this version of it. I don't know. I think that I liked it towards the end. I wouldn't play it with any other group of people, period.
I was gonna
Not
say
at-
I felt bad that we kind of forced you into this when you from the
no.
beginning were like, I do not like rules light, but it was kind of nice that it seemed like you were enjoying yourself. So like I felt
sure.
less bad as time went on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where with a different group, it would have been suffering, literal suffering, because it would have been nothing to do every turn, you know?
I want to think that hopefully part of what made that was that when you were like, I have a weird thing, I was like, cool, there will be a reward and I will try to make it proportional. Like when you were like, I'm getting hit a lot by this bitch. Can I just do a thing to make a shadow clone of me block for me? And I was like, yeah, I'll give you like an armor or something. Does that seem fair? Because there are components to the game. They exist. It's just there's not a lot of ways to utilize them.
Right.
And where I do understand that is a constraint. On the other hand, I like the idea of just having it be up in the air of, well, let's try to do something weird. And then that's been done. Do something else weird next time.
It's like you've gone to a restaurant and they're like, we will make you literally anything in the world that you want to eat. But you don't have a menu, so you're like, I can't think of anything. I couldn't think of anything.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken!
Oh, God, chicken. So good.
Okay, but what kind of chicken, man? Ah!
Grilled chicken. Grilled lemon chicken.
Polenta chicken.
But it took us a while to get there.
Yeah. And it's I did have I think that's pretty good talking about the system for it and how we interacted with it. Well, I will say I did a lot of homebrewing on top because I felt like it was kind of it spoke to it anyway. It had the ability to add that stuff in pretty easily. And since it was so rules light, it wasn't much for me to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I have a section in my outline that's called questions for the audience. And the way that works is, did any of you have questions for your fellow players when it came to like decisions or character choices or things that you haven't already asked them about and talked about that you wanted to discuss?
Philip, are you a bad guy?
So in my defense, I think Oishin is a very logical person. And Machiavellian aside, if he is correct and that the only way to stop this ultimate threat is that everybody on Earth has to become a Power Ranger, or whatever the word is, like if it stops a global, not global, but if it stops like a universal, intergalactic force is stopped, and you save every other galaxy by making a group. Which, so the hard part is like the enslaving of an entire planet. Like, is it permanent? Is it a one time, like, one and done? If it's just a consignment into the fight, you may not survive. But see, he's hard pressed to like say that, sometimes you have to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. So
I like that our characters had differing views, even if only slightly.
So yeah, that's where he's at. I don't know if he's a bad guy, but
No, he's not a bad guy.
he doesn't want to give up that. If that is their only chance, he doesn't want to throw it away.
Right.
And so I don't know how James wants to play that in going forward, or if it'll just sort of be a point that never happens. I don't know, but I thought it'd be cool, and I remember when we got to that point in the story, Oishin was definitely like, "Wait, he's making sense. Like,
Yeah.
I want to save the galaxy too."
I think that's more than fair, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It couldn't possibly go wrong.
Related.
Yeah.
Oh my
Literally not
god.
ever.
Possibly go wrong. Related. I found it interesting when we were like, "You kept attacking us," and he's like, "No, no, 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 no. That wasn't you guys. That was just happenstance. Like, you literally turned our parents into a monster." I didn't sign off on that. I don't know what you mean.
Listen,
I told them to do a thing, and how they did it, it's not up to me.
Listen, I have always enjoyed. Yeah, I mean that's the answer to that. That if I had enough planning forward on that, because I was very much just answering you guys in the moment, but I did have a lot of answers. I feel like thinking harder on it, Mercury's answer would have been like, "Well, you're all gonna have to transform anyway, so it's not really like that's not gonna be how it happens." So. But I wanted to, as the story went, and I know I already talked to this a little bit. I hate it when bad guys don't make sense. I hate it. So I wanted this character to be, chip on his shoulder, had something he had to do, was already short on time, became even shorter on time. And so now
even shorter in a bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's in a vial. But being like this kind of character that's like, listen, you have a bunch of valid complaints about my methods. I don't have the fucking time to listen to them. So if you could please fuck off. Or even better, help, because I need help.
We don't know what you're doing or why. Join me.
Explains it. You're doing something meaner than you should. And he's just like, well, yes. But I love a villain who is ideological, but flawed humanitarily.
I'm honestly very excited for Philip's conversations with Tiny Mercury.
Same, me, 100%. I'm just like, yeah, he's going to be a lot more reasonable now that he's lost, because
So
what's he going to do
when
about
these
it?
interactions happen, I need you to have a balloon full of helium ready at the side of your desk so you can.
I just start talking like this right now. But yeah, no. I've talked to Charles about this, I think, a few times ad nauseum. My favorite kind of enemy is like a Vandastelka. And I think we kind of resonate on that. And it's I'm doing something.
Why would you say resonate after you say something from Tales of the Abyss?
I have a certain lexicon, and that lexicon is forefronted from all
Tales
the.
of the
Yeah. Listen, it's not like you have to jump off this cliff with me. So it's one of those things where writing a story, I definitely want to have an absolutely. There's two things you have to do with a villain. You have to make them have a reasonable thing they're trying to do. You have to make them go about it in a completely unreasonable way. And that's, in my opinion, how you make a compelling villain. And they have to at least have sound logic for why they're doing it. But it has to be something that when the main good guys go, you can't do that, it's inhumane, it's not so heavily weighted in the bad guy's favor that it's like, is it that inhumane? You should just be helping this person. Because you got to fight the bad guy. So
Yeah, it's you want to question that you're fighting for the right side, because you get attacked, so you have to fight, but you don't know what started it. You don't know why, or at least for our case, like we don't know why any of this started. We just kind of got jumped into it,
Hmm.
and we've been fighting ever since, having never seeing the start of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped that from the beginning, at least from my character perspective, it helped that she didn't really think that Diamond was on the up and up. So she was definitely willing to listen and
Yeah.
saw some merit, but not in the way it was being doled out.
Yeah.
Also, the whole like, hey, you knew about this for like 20 years or something. Why didn't you deal with it in a better way? I bring it space.
Space.
Yeah.
Slice.
No, I definitely, there was a weird balance to maintain there of mistrust for that sort of thing that I wanted to make sure to keep at the level of you can't really go towards one or the other. And I mean, I had multiple ways to, I had split endings. There could have easily been an ending in which Diamond was the bad guy. There was a very early draft where Diamond's wearer was Oshin's mom. Speaking to that, her name being Kiva is a very Irish name. So
Mom battle.
yeah. So I had like other ideas and ways to do things, but like it felt too shoehorned in, and it felt like I was trying to make everybody's parent a thing at one point. And I was like, cut it to one, let everybody have their own other moments doing other things. This will be a fun little thing that is good for Michelle, because Michelle is very much about trying to figure out what the plot of something is, and so having a hidden plot that is related to her character will be fun.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I can do
I
that.
just like to know things. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's just we many times, and this is a tabletop thing, and we've talked about this before too, it opens the scene on an interrogation room, and it's just like, tell me all the things. Like, everything about my life? Shit. I was born in Arkansas in the Ozarks, and it's just like, that's not important. Get to the thing I need. What's the thing you need?
Yeah. I don't know what questions you want me to answer. You have to ask them first.
And then I might not want to answer those questions because they're deeply personal.
There were so many times where it was like, Diamond, tell me this specific thing. And she's like, no, I have to go. Bye.
Why are you like this? Because I'm busy. Why are you busy? I'm making gun bullets. Why are you making gun? It's very important. I can't talk about it right now. They're about to go
that's
bad.
very childlike to just continue to ask anyway, though.
Yeah.
It
Why?
makes sense. Every kid goes, why?
Yeah.
Because it's blue. But why? Okay, look it up. I don't care.
Dad answer. Look
When
it
I
up.
know, yes, when I know all the whys of something, then I shut up.
All
But
the
if you-
wise.
All
But
the
knowing
whys.
all the whys is boring.
It's not.
I think it is. I think it's good to keep a few on the table. Play them close to the
Mhm,
chest.
Anybody
But-
else have questions for each other?
Yeah.
How did I do? Because I feel like a lot of people, especially people with lower self-confidence, always want to know how they played their character, especially since we have an ensemble cast. How did I do, guys? Like, did
You were perfect.
oh my god,
I think you did well.
thank you.
Yeah, like I mean, your character is yours, and you played them how they were meant to be played.
I
I
don't
think
want
that you did a good job flexing the mean muscles, even though we had to force you into it.
Yep.
You were so worried about it, and we're like, no, be a bitch.
Way to bully you into being mean.
We did a lot, and we did a lot. It was fine. I want to say that I loved what all of you did. I think that Denitra, I especially appreciated how you would a little tip about my friend Denitra for anybody watching at home who doesn't know. Her knowledge of Power Rangers is only rivaled by her knowledge of Degrassi. And with that, she is very good at making tiny storyline through lines that are very fun to have interactions for the other characters.
But I
Yeah, it's
didn't
like-
go full Degrassi because it wasn't
You
that
should
type of
have.
game. It wasn't
You
that
should
type of game.
Well, someone would have ended up in a wheelchair.
That's
That's
true.
what she means, I think.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like the melodrama part of Degrassi.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that you're asking this because you and your character were so fundamental to like making this feel like an actual high school setting just because of
Right.
your knowledge of that media.
Oh my god.
We were talking about earlier, like you would go to James and be like, I have this little idea, and you were the person who did that the most.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were very invested, and I appreciate that.
The only things you need to do as a player is know your stuff, interact with the world, and be willing to vamp, right? That's it. That's all a DM wants, or a storyteller or whatever. Engage. Just engage with it. I made it for you. Engage. You know what I mean?
The great thing about
Serious.
Powered by the Apocalypse is it doesn't really even care how proficient you are with the system at bending
True.
it to your will. It only cares that you interact with it and tell a story
Yeah.
when you do.
That is all you need to do in this game. That's it. Just interact.
You don't have to know all your spells. You don't have to know what your reactions and your bonus actions are. You don't have to be very up to date with what your energy, your heat, your ammo, and your armor levels are.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Whether
the
your range
only
is
thing.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing I like about rules light systems is it's easier for a character or a player to just get into it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah, because that's all I had to focus on. So yeah, I was
yeah,
really into it. So
You did a good job. Stop being insecure.
I'll try. Thank you though, guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for playing, and thank you for being so excited, and for, again, interacting outside of the game and doing all of the extra legwork that you did. It was great.
Yay.
I don't have a favorite child. I loved all of your interactions from Elijah subtly manipulating the world and being so self-assured until he wasn't, to Kenny being this absolute open heart, ready to help until he realized that what you all were doing was hurting other people potentially, and then immediately being against it. Just immediate heel turn of, well, no, we can't do this anymore because now we have things that we're bending against their will for us. And I thought that was fun. I loved that. Philip, I love the way that you went into all of the interactions that you had as from the perspective of somebody who has every care in the world for what people think of them, because I really do think that's off character for you in terms of like being paralyzed to interact by the idea of what people will think of what you're going to do. That doesn't.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in high school, I was a little bit less, but yeah, as like senior year, moving on and up, I definitely got to like, I don't care. I mean, this is what I'm going to do.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
If you don't like me for it, I probably won't be interacting with you enough to care or to see any results from it. Just, I'll do what I want to do. I'm having fun with it. Yeah.
But Oshin
trying to-
being hell-bent, like his whole goal for this season was, I need to make friends. And you exuded that in every single interaction that you took with him, whether it was trying to make some cute suggestion of what the group should all do together, or trying to find different ways to curry favor with the other Rangers. Like, I noticed all of it, and it was great.
Thank you.
My favorite thing was Oishin and Kenny's shopping trip.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. That was so cute.
Another Natalia episode excerpt.
I got some fashion.
You did get some passion.
Almost.
And Michelle,
No, we fancied him up. He looks good. He looks good now.
yeah, he's got one good outfit, and that's the only one he wears now.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is a TV show, so that's
You-
the only
you
one
like-
you need to wear.
Yeah, you like made a note though. You like had your nice outfit on, but then you like still had something from your old outfit. I don't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I wore a nice shirt, but I still had the coveralls, like, the overalls on them.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
was like, this is right, isn't
They're
it?
functional.
I mean, it's a pretty shirt.
And Michelle, your 100% devotion to Addie as a character and trying to make sure that you were as true to her as you could possibly be in all of your interactions and everything that you did. And your investment was very powerful and very nice. And I really appreciated every moment of it. And my ability to turn that against you or to you at any given point was very fun.
What do you mean?
I really do want to give a shout out to you and Denitra's interactions. I had a lot of fun with those whenever you two were doing stuff. I tried to look out for you all's bonds that you had. I think I did an okay job at least.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, we at least touched on all of them, I think.
I know at least I did for my 2, yeah.
Yeah, because even like the weirder ones, which were
Did
like
you, Philip?
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Nope. Yep. There
Mhm.
was.
yeah,
Sorry.
because there was the play, right? Which I was
Yeah.
like, this is not going to come up, and it came up for one like downtime, I think.
Oh, there's
it was
a whole
the
episode
episode.
about the play, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, bud, you were there.
I don't even
Yeah,
remember
it
that.
was, quote unquote, your episode.
Oh, was it? I was too
Yeah.
busy being weird, probably.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think so. No, I meant the bond with it, because the bond with it was that Addie was the opposite one, and I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
yeah,
I basically
what?
you had that.
you were the
had those
main
moments.
female lead. Yeah,
You had those moments,
the
and then I
play.
stole it from her as the plot progression of that episode.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't
I'm
have
looking
any-
for.
It's on my sheet, not yours.
Oh.
It's my bond with you in that we're in a play and someone in the party is the opposite lead or the romantic partner in it. And it was like, oh yeah, that's right. It came up and then it was stolen from you to push you forward. Yeah.
Yeah. To push the episode forward because the guest of the week wanted to be the opposite
Yeah.
for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And she basically Cersei stole your voice. So that was
My interactions were Kenny and Oishin.
Yeah. Everybody has two, but
Yeah. I'm just trying to find it and remember what
Gotcha.
exactly they say.
Kenny and
it's
you
like-
got into shit together constantly.
Mine was,
Which we never did, really.
Well, it was supposed to be something like
you used to, I think is what it was.
No.
She thinks Kenny's super cool, but she's not supposed to let him know.
Was that Kenny or Oshin? I feel like that was Oshin's.
No, she did something mean to Oishin in the past, and
Yes.
feels bad about it. Which kind of came up in the whole like "fuck them" like
Mhm.
scene.
Yeah. So I mean, like I think all in all, we had a good holistic approach to the series. Now that if there's no other questions for other players, I did want to open up if there were any questions for me, but I think you guys have already asked a few. I've tried to give some answers.
Were you?
I actually have a question for Charles.
Oh, please.
Well,
Where did the crystal thing come from? Like, what was the inspiration for that?
it was
Just
on the
like
sheet.
90s?
Literally.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember how I always say RP is from the sheet? I have healing crystal as one of the things, and he's into the occult. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it then.
All right.
And that's why it kept going.
It fucking works so well.
Instead of a crystal lady, he was a crystal man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was cool. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I'm taking that and I'm RPing with it. Because
Good.
that's why I like rules heavy systems, because there's more things to look at like that.
He wouldn't
But-
take any of my props though.
Huh? Yeah. No, I did not take any of your props. And that was a bond that I had with Kenny, that Kenny was into it before, like the summer before. Kenny and I, like I picked one person, Kenny and I had done it together. And then that came up like for one episode, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it was cool to use the things on the sheet,
It,
for sure.
I was gonna
I did think it was funny. At one point where we were talking about the different kinds of other rocks or whatever, and people are like, I don't know what a tiger's eye looks like. I was the one who had one to just be like, yeah, it looks like this.
Yep.
yeah, they're very cool. They look like little eyes.
Mhm.
Looks like my mom.
It's like my mom.
Someone's gonna ask James something though, right?
Oh yeah. So my question was, how much of this story, I guess, did you have ready? Like, how much of it was the skeleton? How much of it was the the meat?
It depends on what you consider a skeleton and what you consider the meat. I always, because you all chose Diamond as your mentor and had an ex-ranger, I always wanted, and you guys actually chose. You guys chose that the old ranger squad was the bad guys. I do believe.
Did we? Oh,
I think so,
think it
because
came
we
up.
pick antagonists or something.
Yeah. So you had basically you had the option of having it be an evil team, and
Yeah, because we chose that they would have been corrupted.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
That's the only input we had. I think it was part of the making the team, but then James just went off with it.
It's
I think, right?
Yeah, basically. And then I was like, well, they have to have little ties here and there. And there was an original version where I was like trying to. I have notes. Hold on. Diamond would have been Oshin's mom, maybe. Made the original shades with the help of Mercury. Precise fighter, weakest of the original in a fight, though. Find a catchphrase to have her use. I never did that.
She has a catchphrase. I'm busy. I can't talk.
I'm busy.
Stop asking me questions.
Stop asking me questions. I got. I wrote down that she would have a Genkai type youth transformation, which she did. That something that never came up. The science teacher knew her secret.
Oh.
Yeah, I wrote that down. But yeah,
just because of a past failed to keep it secret, maybe.
Because
Was
they
that
were
the
both
reason?
nerds together. He was her friend from school.
Got you. And like because in the game, you fail a roll to keep it secret.
Mm-hmm.
So immediately my mind goes, oh, she failed that roll once. I wonder why or how. Yeah, exactly.
Did you always think that the asteroid that they were on was going to be coming to the planet? Like that's how we were going to get to the big bad?
I always wanted it to be that the objective for them was to take the shield down, because you all said that the defensive shield was one of the components of the secret base, and that without doing that they would not be able to invade. There was at one point that they were just going to invade and like land essentially on the lake, and then there would have been an evil fortress that you had to fight there. Instead, I moved that into it being Diamond's lab because it's cool for her to have one of those, and also it's kind of nice to have like a white base kind of feel. And then shooting up to an asteroid's just rad, so once I thought of that, I just immediately pivoted.
I have a question for Tanisha and Aaron that I didn't think of until just now.
Please go ahead. No, absolutely. This is what I wanted out of this.
Why did they break up?
That's a good question.
Did we talk about that?
I feel like you kind of alluded to it, but you didn't actually go into it too hard.
Yeah, like I think Aaron and I were about to talk about it, but then I think we just determined that it was going to be a mystery. Am I right, Aaron? Or
yeah, it was kind of nebulous. They left on good terms, but it was kind of like a mutual thing that they never really talked about.
Yeah,
like they just didn't work, and they were like, yeah, it's just not gonna.
Okay, on the same thread, why did Deja make Kenny promise to take her to prom or whatever that arrangement was?
Oh, because she didn't have a date.
Okay.
And she had planned, like I said,
it made it sound like super mysterious, and I'm like, what's the catch here?
Well, the catch was me getting sick that week. Like I was actually going to Deja was gonna ask, like I was gonna come up with something with James to be like, yeah, whatever, the guy that she wanted to talk to was, I think, that the rival guy,
Dan.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, So since Deja just pulled the friend card on Kenny. She's like, you don't have a date. I don't have a date, tragically, so you have to help me.
I think the way that they had it determined originally was it was like a Bridgerton-esque sort of thing where it's like both of us don't want to be obnoxious by other people, so we're going with each other as far as anybody's concerned.
Yeah,
And
because
so
if I
they
remember
were
correctly,
each
they
other's
both left
wingmen.
with different people. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
they wingman.
To tease Michelle a little bit, I have a secret reason why it didn't work out between Kenny and Deja, but that's a secret.
His dick was too big.
You know how I feel about secrets. Why would you tell me there's a secret?
Yay!
Because it's funny to me now.
Ah!
Trying to see if I had any stuff that you guys didn't finally eke out. No. I think
What did
most
you
of it came
think-
through.
What did you think about the obligations for having us do stuff? So like my obligation was the tournament / brain bowls,
Yep.
whatever. And so that was like an episode. I know
Yeah.
someone like I only remember the Slacker because I had read it before, but like their obligation is they have to go to work. Like how did you feel like that played into the story? Anything or just I used it for this episode and that was it?
It was good fodder for episode ideas. Mostly, but also if I would try to basically dangle those in front of you all occasionally and see if it was something that you wanted to involve yourself with more. So it was one of those things where it's good fluff to have in the world because it gives you the ability to do things. And also most of the obligations are episode themes for these kinds of shows. And that is always good. The play episode, the needing to make it to the nerd thing on time episode, the having a sporting event, going to the dance, all of those are episodes you see in shows like Degrassi, like Power Rangers, like, Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah. So like a lot of times I would just go look at them, look at the themings and try to play them off of what were teen comedy romance shows stuff.
Okay.
What was the third Slap Force member's name?
Oh no. Did I have one? Because it's Dash, it's Steve.
And Barb.
I mean,
Oh my
Barb's
God.
good, but I forget. Was it a boy and two girls, or was it two girls or two boys and a girl?
I don't know.
No,
thought it
it
was
was canonized. We said what it was.
All I
Yeah.
have is they're a BMX person because all of them were like sports people,
Right. Yeah.
extreme sports people.
Well, if Daz was
Not
part
extreme,
of
but
it, Daz was male.
Daz was a
Think?
girl.
Daz was a girl.
Oh, I wasn't here for that first episode with him. Anyway,
That's okay.
I was
Maybe
like,
in,
just by
like,
the way that they
dating.
talked, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was busy trying to not sound like a English person while also trying to sound a little bit Australian. So, but yeah.
If you don't know, I'll just leave the line blank still.
I say leave it blank for now because I want to double confirm because I might have come up with that with Ro, and I don't want to just say something off the cuff. I don't want you to feel like this is. What's that for? Ooh, thank you, baby. I got dinner. I had pickled some chicken and she breaded it
Ooh.
and fried it, so now I have chicken fingers that are pickle flavored.
Ooh,
That sounds
that
great.
sounds good.
It does, actually. I love all
Just
of you
eat it.
very much. No, I'm busy. I try not to over define things on the outside because if you do that, then suddenly you lock yourself out of neat ideas as they come.
Mm-hmm. You have to leave that space nebulous, even if you, the storyteller DM, want to know too. It's like, well, it's not just my story. If give it the space to change,
And if
because
you
otherwise, yeah, you get screwed.
and if you don't do that and you lock it all into place, then suddenly one of your players will be like, I wanted to do this thing, and it rams right up against this giant intricate thing that you've made, and you're like, either I tell
that
them
planning's
no,
for- Yeah.
or I just shatter all of that. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's a 3-man squad, and I do think we said 2 of them were girls.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably, yeah.
So Steve, Daz, and Erwina.
There you go.
No, that's not it. But no, so I did have a lot of answers for things, and I did come up with a lot of secrets, and some of them were invented on the fly or changed on the fly, which is why I tried not to play too hard into them, like too deep. Mm-hmm. As the outline to give you an answer, Philip, I started with the idea that Diamond was responsible for shooting them off into space. Okay. I did not know why yet. And I did not know how yet.
Okay.
Do we even know how currently?
I do.
Well,
I believe Tiger's Eye yelled at her about it. She said that you basically betrayed us and went behind our backs.
Yeah, but physically, like the method.
She locked the base that they had and shot it off.
Oh, rude.
A component of it while they were all locked in quickly before they noticed what was going on.
Super rude.
Yeah. Basically, she was the one who was the admin for all of their tech, so she was able to lock all the doors, seal all the exits.
Open the pod bay door, Hal.
Mm-hmm. I can't do
that. What was your favorite interaction with all of the characters?
I think
on the spot.
Favorite, it would have to be when I told the story of you two playing as kids.
Aww.
Does that count? Or do you want one that I didn't initiate?
For like each person.
Oh, for each person? Easy. Yeah. Charles was unlocking his power. Damn, a lot of them are going to be unlocking powers.
Well, sure.
I mean, Aaron breaking his glasses was rad as hell. And
yeah,
that's
fact, my favorite for him.
Yeah, the fact that he had that chambered and told me, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be great." And then the titanium fight ended in a way that didn't allow for that, and I was like, "We'll just bring him back. It'll be fine. We'll do this. We're gonna get this done." Philip, my favorite interaction for Philip is definitely any time that he was trying to get real with Elijah.
Yep.
Like all of those were gold, and Charles interacting back was always great.
Completely oblivious.
Yeah.
But very friendly by the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now partners, but just not in the way that Oshin wants. Yet.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just interject that was so cute? I loved it because I have seen and have participated in crushes like that. You know, being the one who is like hopelessly
You've been the crusher.
Crushing. Yes. Oh my god. And I'm like, oh.
But have you been the crushee?
Probably not.
And if I was, I didn't really take that person seriously, obviously, because I'm not aware.
Yeah. It's like if anybody crushed on me like that, fuck if I know. You gotta tell my dumb ass.
Fair enough. Deja, every Kenny and Deja moment was just solid fucking gold. Because they really did fall perfectly into that old, God, you piss me off. Kenny being like, you're being an unreasonable
spoil. Aggressive sometimes, yeah, but like.
But that's exactly what that is when it comes to somebody that you were if you were in a like volatile enough relationship with that person, you definitely like have this side of you that doesn't exist outside of that relationship with that person, and it can be like that. So it was funny to see. And also when two characters are yelling at each other, suddenly I'm watching that 5-man band show where two of the characters piss each other off, and I love it. And I'll be honest with you, Michelle, though you might not think I did, I loved every interaction you had with Diamond. Every single one. Especially the one where you were just like, no, talk now. Because you the idea of realizing as a kid that you are a superhero and you're like, I can force you, the adult, to stand here and tell me what I need to know. It's just
we're a teaser and you're a bitch.
And it's a good Spider-Man-esque moment of like, okay, well, yeah, you're a teenager, but also you have superpowers, so if there's an adult there that's being disrespectful or mean to you, you could just hold them and possibly break their arm if you're not careful.
Grr.
So that was fun. I liked that. For Steve, I really enjoyed his interaction with Addie whenever they were kind of like pseudo buddies, but not, because that was a very interesting dynamic of like, we're both too cool to be friends with each other, but we're kind of friends, right? No, fuck off. Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, same. I think for Deja, it was just the cutesy with Steve, like every time, or the one interaction where she kind of got over needing to be important in front of the snooty girls. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but also you could be less of an asshole about it. For Kenny, it was either the glasses breaking or just like the interactions with the siblings. Funny enough,
every time Kenny was a big bro was just good shit, because Aaron just falls right into that flawlessly.
Funny enough,
man, it's almost like I have a younger sibling.
Yeah, I know.
For you and for Charles and for Philip, it was a family interaction or something else. So like the interaction that Charles had with his mom, where they both kind of chill about shit. That was good.
I really like.
I will say, to shout myself out a little bit, I did love all of the parent interactions I was able to get with all of you, especially you, Michelle.
Those were different. Have you ever been disappointed in your parent? Addie has. Let's see, the final interaction. You fucking played me, Charles. The final interaction you had with Philip, I was like, oh shit, here it goes! And you were like, no, that's not what's happening.
A rug pulled right underneath you.
Yep, he got me.
Yeah, got me too.
And
Team
Phillip,
never smooch.
Yeah.
Make it like Wings.
Yeah.
If they kiss, that's the end of the show.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep that going. We don't have the Red Ranger, Pink Ranger, So we got to have one of them.
Yeah.
We'll serve.
Funny. So yeah, for Philip, it was either the shopping trip with the clothes, or like just watching his mom talk about him with the principal. That was cute. And the whole like, oh, you made some friends? Good job.
His mom is genuinely concerned he never would.
But it came across as like, she didn't think it was weird. So often in media like that, you have the parent that's worried about their kid because it's weird that they hadn't made friends. So like his mom didn't come across as, it's strange you don't have friends. Stop being up in your own shit and go make some friends. It was like, I see that alongside your very important research, you have made a social interaction. Good job.
I like that, yeah.
I like to think that that's one of those things where his mom was that kid when she was younger, and she looked back and realized she didn't stay close to anybody in high school, even though she easily could have, had she put even the smallest amount of effort.
Well, she's trying so hard.
Yes. That's what I love about his character.
Very cute.
Look, I already have a soft spot for
nerds.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a nicer way to put what I was gonna say.
We are who we are. Call us nerds. It's fine.
I was gonna be more mean to you.
Oh.
I was gonna say pitiful nerds. Specifically as a subsection.
See, but here's what I was gonna tack onto the end of that. I feel like Philip managed to do it in a way that was not completely cringe.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute, not cringe. Charles, how dare you? Yes, okay, I have a soft spot for pitiful nerds because I believe that they can be polished up and not pitiful. Like, I think they can lose the pitiful modifier easily with a little bit of effort. So
I was a pitiful nerd up until year 2, 3 of high school.
I mean, luckily we didn't meet until
you never met
college.
That one.
Yeah, I didn't meet pitiful James, though I would be interested in knowing more about that part of your life. So you should tell me stories.
You should feel good, James, that she thinks you're attractive now and probably would have previously also. This face that you've
just
made.
The perfect range of Denitra bait for my entire life.
How?
There you go.
Now, once again, I'm catching strays.
No, you shot this one into the air.
Yeah,
it just
you-
fell back
you
down at a
literally
bad
shot
angle
it.
for
Yeah.
you.
Oh my god! I was just saying
Caught
that
your
I have
own
a.
stray.
I was-
You shot
As
the
per
air
normal.
completely up, and then it just
As
went.
per normal.
"Meow."
Yeah,
Oh
as per
my
normal, you start.
I
You
was
bait
just
people
saying that
into
I have
responding.
a soft spot for nerds,
Yeah.
and Philip played a cute, like a mousy little like
Non-cringe
Chess-
nerd, yeah.
like chess club, mathlete.
Oh my gosh, can we
Yeah, we get
can we talk about Goblin the Stabbing really quick? Hilarious.
I so want to play that.
I would say, yeah. James is like, just once again another look on James's face where it's like, this is just a background thing. We all latch onto it. You can just see his eyes get slowly bigger. He's like, fuck, now I have to do this.
We need to play a one shot of Goblin the Stabbing.
I'd play a one shot of Goblin the Stabbing.
That'd basically just be Pathfinder Goblins.
Okay.
That's a thing.
I don't want to play Pathfinder, so never mind. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
There's
I
too
think it'd
many
be
rules.
like a World of Darkness thing.
Which is Charles?
Too many rules.
Too many rules of Pathfinder, too many modifiers. It's a pain. Even in 2e, there's still so many modifiers and everything. It's just that they made it so that it's easier to maintain because it's supposed to be done on a virtual tabletop. So you
Yeah.
click a button for flat-footed, and you click a button for dazed, and you click a button for off guard or whatever.
I really liked when Addie's interactions with Deja's older brother.
Oh
Motorcycle
God,
ride.
yeah. And
The most
Deja
awkward
older,
shit ever.
the most awkward triangle of Addie standing there, Deja being there, and Deja's brother rolling up to talk to Deja, and then also talking to Addie.
Listen, I have no sympathy for Deja in that encounter because that's the way Kenny is with Steve and Deja. He's just like, fuck.
It was certainly interesting to play that part because I don't know that I've ever experienced that in reality.
Having a
certainly-
crush on an older brother of a friend.
Or just in general, like never being in that situation where I felt like
Never
I needed to be.
crushing?
Well, no, I mean I've had crushes on people, but I never felt like awkward talking to them. So I was
that's
kind of
fair.
like,
So
how do
we-
I make myself feel awkward right now?
I got you. Every single time, it's gonna end with Deja being there. Awkward.
Yep.
Deja going like, I don't like this.
But like the one interaction that we had where she wasn't there, I was
Mhm.
like, I'm trying to play up awkward or what I think is awkward in this situation. I don't know if I'm doing it right.
I think you got it.
Okay.
yeah, I think you did a good job.
Basically,
Like-
there's a special form of awkward, which is just immediately going with the flow of whatever that person says, and that was what Addie fell into almost immediately whenever he showed up.
Mhm.
It was just like, oh, you're gonna ride me somewhere? Cool, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's but I feel like that particular feeling, that awkwardness, not knowing what to do with yourself, is antithesis of what Addie tries to project. So it was interesting to try and weave those things together.
It was fun because the idea of that brother, when you mentioned him and that came up as a thing that we were going to do, I loved it because the idea being that Addie has built herself a castle and no one's allowed in. Xavier's already in there though. How did he get there? That's weird. Because he showed up before you had built all those walls and was a childhood friend. You had pushed Deja out because you two had a falling out. That never happened with... Is it Xavier or Xander? It was Xavier, right?
Xavier.
Yeah, that never happened with Xavier, so it was just one of those things where he would show up and you did the thing where you clicked back into kid who used to play in the forest with this other kid who was a little older than you. Except he's cute
Aw.
now and has a bike.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's an important character to give a character like Addie, because characters who are too cool for school need at least one person that they are unable to be too cool for school around.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Very much.
It makes them more real.
More grounded, more human. Less annoying.
Yeah. Give every character at least one Achilles heel. It's fun.
I had at least 3.
Ow, my leg! Oh, nobody here will get that!
Oh, my leg.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense for the original myth, but
Yeah.
You sound so dejected now all of a sudden.
I feel like she
Yeah.
has to talk about One Piece, but she can't.
It wasn't about One Piece, but fair enough. It was actually a SpongeBob meme.
Mm.
all right.
I have one more
Does
item
anybody
on
else?
this. Oh, go ahead.
Did anybody else have like a thing that they really liked interaction wise from somebody else?
I think all of them for me have been mentioned, which is why I wanted to be last. I was wondering if there'd be. I can't think of any other than those, honestly, because that's like 30 moments.
Yeah.
That's a whole. That's
Oh yeah.
it's like everything that I could. I mean, I think because we didn't shout them out earlier, the Alien Space Cop was the right amount of what the hell is he doing? You
Yeah.
know, that character from the 90s who shows up, the Poochie, and I don't mean this in the bad way that it immediately takes, right? Like, it's just that character, that trope that's like, you're introduced. What are they? They're the zany character in this show. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're doing that now. And it was perfectly timed too, because it was like, was it the Ring Dance episode?
It was.
Yes. So it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get into the good juicy relationship. Who the hell is this? What are they doing? Oh, okay, that sort of worked out. Well, that's weird. And then they disappear.
I have to go now. My planet needs
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Charles, actually, I wanted Deja and Elijah to interact more often, but I figured it would be weird. Like, I've noticed that, like, whenever we play together, our characters, like, they interact, but then we don't really try to have character moments with each other. And that just might be a player issue, so I'm gonna work on
Skill
that.
issue.
Huh?
Skill issue.
Oh, I mean, these characters had no reason to interact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Deja and
So
Elijah, nope.
I did actually DM Charles about wanting us to have some sort of like in like, because we both had the two black affluent kids, like I wanted that to be their dynamic, like they recognize each other, and that was about it.
They
that was the
recognize
extent
each
of
other
it.
from church.
Yeah. 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 If either of those characters went to church at any points of their life, that's maybe where they knew each other.
Well, our connection, which I don't believe actually came up, is their parents worked together.
Yeah.
Yes. Elijah's dad works at the mining company. His mom is a nurse, and Deja's dad is like an executive at the mining company. So
No,
not
Deja's
Dad
mom
was
is
in
the
That's right.
Yeah.
Deja's
Right.
mom is the lawyer. Deja's dad
That's-
is military.
Ah, okay.
So you both had one workaholic parent that is always away, and you had one parent that worked with the other.
No, it was the lawyer worked for the mining company.
Yeah.
Because they worked for the same company.
Yes.
Yeah, they
That was
did.
the only connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I attempted, but Charles was just like, nah.
My favorite thing about that whole story just now was you sent Charles a DM and you live together.
Like,
Yeah.
reach behind you and hit him.
Yeah.
That's what the green screen's for.
Hey,
Yeah, like
by
there's
the
a
way.
green screen in the way.
Oh man, I'm sure if you took your headphones off, you couldn't both just talk to each other.
Look. Also, I can be quite forgetful. So the DM was just to keep.
That's
You
what
know.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I have just straight up sent Philip a DM. Usually it's because we're in different rooms and I don't want to get out of bed. But I definitely have just sent Philip a message to be like, hey, look, hey, it's still here. And he sends me stuff all the time, even when we're next to each other, but it's usually links.
Yeah, it's like, check out this meme.
Yeah.
Check
yeah.
out this one thing I found.
Yeah. So yeah, Aaron. Sometimes I'll DM people if they're in the same room.
I think
as
I
me.
resisted that because it's me. I don't like the trope of all black people knowing each other. Like, I don't like that. That's not the way it works. Like,
I would argue with you that it would definitely work in a town like Rock Ridge
I know
Mountain
it
or
would.
whatever.
But I want to ignore that part.
and I, like I said, on one hand, I get you. On the other hand, I would have liked if our characters interacted with each other more often.
He's the punk and you're popular. No way. Just literally
you know
not.
what? Yeah, you got a point, because I'm pretty sure Deja's just like, the safety pins again, huh?
And spikes.
And the spikes. Spider-Punk is so cool.
Oh, yeah. Hobie was great in that movie.
No spoilers. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Oh.
Don't all look at me like I told you my cat died. Jesus.
It's just so good, okay?
Hey, I didn't.
That's
fine.
Yeah, I was just looking.
It was like James, Michelle, Denitra were all like.
I was looking at something else.
Yeah.
I was just like, we don't get to talk about it now.
Yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't.
We're
spoil
talking
people
about
watching
Robo
it.
Rock Rangers right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. And speaking of which, my sixth point on the bullets, if we're done with questions, unless anybody had any more or wanted to talk about more moments, was basically, I labeled it future perfect planning. Where do you see the characters in the next semester? Do you have an idea already? I know that a few of you have brought ones to me. And I guess the other thing that to just ask is everybody down for a season 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll have to negotiate.
Okay. My people will get with Kenny's actors. People will figure it out. He might get his own spin-off show, and we get a new Gold Ranger.
There you go.
Oh.
My only question is how do you see the level progression, since the game is designed with a very finite level? If we do another season, we're already more than halfway through.
My brain is mulling over a team attack tree. That is like the idea of, rather than personal growth, you have interpersonal growth for the next season that is becoming stronger with the other members of the team.
Okay,
very cool.
Is something I think I could make interesting ideas for. It would probably take a lot of work, but that's the main way that I can think of to make it more interesting, is to have things that have all of you interact with each other differently rather than just being by yourself. And
that sounds cool. That sounds like a good idea. And
I did also have wanting to figure out, and we'll see if this ever pans out, the fourth wall narrative of the actors. And seeing how that could affect the show and the story.
That does sound interesting.
Yeah.
Being able to, I don't know, be the actor for Addie, who's like, oh, fuck you guys. Maybe just have her be like, oh, guys, no, that's not cool. Hilarious.
Being the actually very sweet one who is probably the one that is getting the most locked into like bad contracts because she's just so polite.
Is that the reason why they brought her from the other show too? It's like she was great to work with, and also she doesn't ask that many questions.
Yeah.
Where the player is the opposite, at least for the question bit. Like, no, I'll just go along with it. And the character's just like, no, I will literally never go along with it.
I will sit right here until you tell me everything.
I have no regrets about that.
Yeah. You shouldn't. It was fine.
Yeah, it's character.
No regrets.
No regrets. No yogurts.
If I had any regrets, it's that you guys did have the ability to dig deeper into stuff if you wanted to.
Don't lie to me.
No, I'm not. Like, it was just the thing was I wanted the methods to switch up. So, like, if you asked Diamond, didn't get anything, and then you went and did the comics and you got stuff from that, and then if you had gone and, like, messed around in the base, you probably could have gotten more from that, from Al and things like that. So, it was... besides Addie and occasionally Steve showing up with Addie, there was not much in terms of the off-time research, and it was mostly on the fly figuring things out.
I remember thinking about doing that kind of stuff, and in my own head being like, well, I'm not sure how much is there, and I don't want to derail us too much because the plot is we're doing this thing, we're trying to figure out about this person, this event. So digging into the past may, one, there may not be an answer, right? Like you may not have answered that question, and two, it's pulling away from what we're all trying to focus on. So I mean, I thought about it a little bit, like once or twice, but usually that's why I didn't.
That's fair.
Mine was purely in character. Is Kenny had other things thinking about, and he's not
Kenny
a
has
researcher.
12 kids to feed.
Pretty much.
Kids.
All my character did was look into things, and I didn't want to stretch, which would allow me to do.
Yeah,
Because he would just look into anything, everything.
that you know what the terrible thing was, honestly, you failed so many of those rolls. You actually did go out of your way to try to do it, and just every single time you rolled like a 5 or a 4.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot about that. That was just bum luck. You were trying to do stuff. It was just not working out for some reason or another.
Which is good, because I don't think one character should find out all of the answers. Which is why I didn't try and just spam it constantly. That could have been everything, every single turn, I'm not going to do that.
I know that you understand narrative pacing. I know that you know what is reasonable. I trust y'all.
But,
I trust all of you.
Explicitly.
Explicitly.
Very cool.
I trust you to have the power to change the world around you and only do it in fun and interesting ways. I trust Michelle to just bug the piss out of him. No.
I'm not even ashamed of that.
You shouldn't be. And again, it's not like you can just force answers to materialize out of thin air. So it wasn't a problem.
How many times we could do a quick cut of how many times you just say no to me? It's a lot.
I feel like, did I say no explicitly, or did I say there's not enough time, or basically I gave you answers because you're a kid?
There's just a couple where you basically just said no. But that was mostly out of character, or when I was like, I made a bad joke, and you're like, you don't even need this. Get out of here.
It was mostly, I mostly rebelled against you with attitude earning. And it was because you, and this was something that I complained about with the system. You would be sitting at 5 attitude and have made 5 puns and just, I can't do anything further than that. So that's where we are.
Well, it's like Aaron said, like sometimes it was more fun to fail.
Yeah, that's true. That's the thing is and that's not a problem with it either, because the failing is fun, and failing also gives you attitude, which is I don't know. Where do you all see season 2 going? Do you have any ideas?
Hopefully not in space.
Hopefully not in space.
Definitely going in space. Either we're getting invaded or we're going to space.
I know. I'm just saying, like, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy wasn't that good. Power Rangers in Space wasn't all that good. But SPD was good.
This is our chance, teacher, to make space cool.
Yeah, it never has been before. Just imagine.
I mean, just think about it. Every franchise that goes to space is dead.
It's like adding a new young character. Well, they were already in space.
They were always in space.
Yeah, it's like adding a.
I mean, from the very first episode of Star Trek, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but background wise.
I don't.
Well, it just means during the course of the show,
I'm
right?
teasing.
Yeah, I know, but we got to push back sometimes, right?
Yeah. nerd semantics.
Exactly.
Truly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we had a shark jumping moment.
We gotta find a way to rebuild our base.
Yeah.
I shot y'all out of a gun?
We're just taking diamonds.
That doesn't count as jumping the shark?
No. We're jumping the planet.
If only we had like a kick, we could have like kick flipped a piece of metal out as we were getting shot out of the cannon. That would have been. Or if there was like a shark tank under the cannon, so it looked like we were jumping over the.
Yeah.
A single shark jumps out of the lake we're in because it's a lake and not the ocean. Go figure.
Yeah.
Oh my god. As long as the shark has like a laser on its head, everything is copacetic.
Okay.
I mean, it's
So
a lake,
space
it's
shark-
freshwater lake.
Space sharks make it okay. Got it.
A lake shark and then a space shark. Wait, aren't there like? Actually, never
No.
mind. Yeah, I know. Oh, a pike. I mean, if you
Not
wanna.
a shark.
I know it's not a shark.
It's an angry fish with teeth, not a
So
shark.
was a shark, angry fish with teeth. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Just making
okay,
it mad. Just making it mad.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pedant at you.
Oh, I still hate that word.
I love you all equally.
But
Oh,
I
except
don't.
for Charles. I love him more.
Yeah, good. Good.
Bold of you to assume you love Charles more than we do.
More than you do, you mean?
I was trying to be polite.
Disappears.
Anyway. Okay. Well, I mean, discussion noted. When it comes to whether space or no space. Do you all think there's been much time between? I figure a little bit of
Couple of
downtime's
months.
always good. Yeah, a couple of months
Yeah.
maybe. Obviously, it can't be, but it can't be a 5-year time skip. Then you're all in your 20s. So
It'd probably
The-
be like summer break. Everyone.
Yeah, summer
leaves.
break.
Yeah, no daring do in the summer, or I don't know, maybe one or a couple characters. They're like, oh yeah, there's some stuff that we gotta like mop up, and we secretly did that. That could be a good story thread.
There's also like if we, whatever the bigger threat is, if they have like a scouting party, you know, their first line, their first whatever could be.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
the second season could literally take place in Australia.
How are we supposed to get to Australia?
Exchange program.
Ley lines.
Yeah, we could teleport. That's about it.
We just cheat our way there through customs. What's customs?
Don't
Look,
need that.
back during when the show was taking place, it didn't matter. We didn't even have to take our shoes off at the airport during that time. Yeah. Paper tickets. You could just your people could walk you through to the whole thing and be like, can see you off. They can see the plane take off. Yeah, we don't have that shit anymore. But we can do that in this game.
Mm-hmm,
You've accidentally made things sad.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Philip, to speak to what you said for a second, I mean, we basically did tease that at the end of the last episode. So
Right. Well, that's just where I was thinking it was going, since we've more or less freed and or captured the other bad rangers, and since we do know that what he was talking about is that we are going to be invaded, or possibly be invaded, then I think that would make sense that that's where the next set of bad guys would come from. We could do a we could pull a DBZ and have, you know, Kakarot losing his memory. So that way we have someone who shows up.
Did
and
you
has
just?
Who's getting brain damage?
Yeah.
one of the bad race of
Yeah,
alien things.
They land and they don't
Buldarians.
know.
Buldarians.
Bulgarians, yeah.
Right, the Buldarians. Yeah, so one of them crash lands and is brain damage and isn't violent.
I mean, we are technically kind of using a bunch of those already.
Now you made it sad.
Yeah, I did.
We've now decided on the tone of the next season. Sad.
Oh no.
See, I'm giving no information because I'm already going to rewrite it once we do it. So I may as well just look. You pick what you want to pick, James.
Don't you be that way with me.
Pick what you want to pick. I'll just change it.
I was gonna say before, James was like, "You can't just make things appear out of nowhere," and I was like, "Have you seen Charles's powers?"
Literally.
Well, this works like this. Oh, does it now?
I said Michelle can't. Michelle can't do it.
Yep.
Ah,
Until she takes a level in weird.
Yep.
Why would you give her that idea?
Just saying.
I think
Just
that's
take
the
that
only thing I
weird.
have negative in. I'm like down 2 in weird or something like that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, like, from a character perspective, make like a whole lot of sense. But here we are.
I think you had the choice between that and smarts. So
Yeah,
is that right?
most
I
likely
don't know.
with the Rebel, because cool would be their main stat, and then I guess I would pick one.
It's either cool or strong.
Mhm.
Or what was it?
both cool and strong.
Yeah.
Being strong makes me cool. Oh.
Yeah, but you had the choice of one of them being a 1, I think, and one of them being a 0.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
one
But
was a
I
negative one
beefed
and a
up both
negative
of
2.
them.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, just at the beginning is what we're talking
Sure.
about.
Sure, I know. Anyway.
Yep. So, I've just been sitting here writing down what you all are saying so far.
Uh-oh.
getting
That was-
ideas.
Getting
for-
ideas. What?
Mhm.
Because I could still say uh-oh.
That's fair.
I know you. Devious.
Not so much devious as just noting what people want out of things. Not
I don't know.
necessarily,
You definitely
not
have a
necessarily
devious side.
space, but space sharks certainly.
Mhm.
With lasers.
Gotta have.
Thank you. I forgot the lasers.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
can we not go to space and just have street sharks?
What makes you think that space sharks can't also be street sharks?
Are there streets in space?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Galactic superhighways?
the Milky Way.
The Milky
I don't think there's any
Road.
black.
Thank you for laughing.
I don't think there's any blacktop like on the Milky Way. I'm not gonna.
Can
Your,
we?
your vision of what roads are and can be is limited, friend.
No, I'm pretty sure there's a pretty straight definition for what a road is.
The existence of a highway to hell means that there is a highway to heaven, which would go up into the sky, probably to space.
No, it's an escalator to heaven. It's a highway to hell. It takes longer to get to heaven until you
Stairway.
get the bullet train.
It's the
Is that all part of the-
stairway to heaven, bullet train to hell.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you,
Tells you
Tiny
how many people
Toons.
they think they're
Yep.
gonna get
So
population
they say
going where.
heck.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to make a dumb side tangent for the game I went to play yesterday. So we needed to go find another player's character from like 10 years ago, but he was like put away in like the spirit realm, so he didn't like die. He was pretty much just like he was pretty much on King Kai's planet training for like 20 years or whatever, and we had to go find him. So as we were like going through the afterworld to try to find him, I was like, Ryan, you ended up in Hiffle, you infinite loser. There was many Dragon Ball Z jokes that night.
Love it.
Fair enough.
You have to.
Definitely.
Sorry, continue.
No, that's fine. Just basically, I was trying to get what people's feelings were on a season 2, where they wanted to be. I know that a few of you have already said that you have ideas for what your character would be doing in that downtime. I imagine that most of you actually know, and whether or not you want that to be like something that everybody else knows about is fine. Either way, one or the other. I assume you're going to be doing a lot of conversing, Philip. That was my guess for you.
Conversing.
He's
Yeah.
gonna learn how to torture very small people.
Oh my god.
Like I said, next season is depressing and sad.
I mean, wait.
Enjoy.
He's in a jar, right?
Yep.
He doesn't breathe, right?
I guess Oshin's gonna find out.
Did you put holes in the jar?
Please don't.
No. It's a liquid metal, so no, there are no
we
holes in
have
the
no
jar.
holes in the jar. He'll get out.
Well, I tried. Oh well.
Look, he was in space. He's fine.
Yeah.
If he could
Yeah.
be in space,
Wait,
he could be
so
in the
were we.
jar.
We had
Yeah, but we
helmets.
had helmets.
That wasn't.
when we
No,
didn't, it was
we
bad.
we talked about that. The helmets weren't required on
That
on the-
atmosphere.
mainly because I thought that'd be silly to suddenly give a shit about physics after firing you all off on a spike from a railgun into an asteroid.
Mhm.
So either way,
Yeah.
that was most of what I wanted to talk about. Did anybody else have any topics that I missed? Because I don't want to leave you hanging.
No, I can't think of anything. I think we did a pretty good wrap up. I mean, of course, I'm not speaking for everybody, but
I've rudely brought up all my topics already.
Wasn't rude. We're on a
Just
talk
teasing.
show.
Just teasing.
Stop being mean to my friend.
Teasing.
Don't tease my friends.
Fun.
You gotta tease yourself sometimes.
It's true.
Attitude.
Hey!
Yeah, I had a good time with the game, and in the future, when we do our season 2 or spin-off or crossover, I'll be here for it.
sounds
It's gonna
good.
be
Sounds like a
Radical Robo Rock Rangers X Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, that's a bit much. No crossovers of that nature. No, we're not.
No Mega Man. Got it.
You know, it was fine with Mega Man, but no.
Fair enough. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you all for coming and talking to me about the game that we all played for. Was it like half a year?
I
Basically.
could look it up.
You said what?
Yeah,
15
something like that.
episodes,
Yeah, it was 15-ish episodes. Might have been more.
half of which were the finale.
Mm-hmm. It
Wow,
was
so
really good. You all cried. It was fine.
Oof. My most hilarious thing for me is I made myself cry the most.
Yeah.
Really?
Then you made your
Yeah.
character cry over in a corner.
Yeah. But I wasn't crying then, just her.
Yeah.
Being a teenager and going to space is hard.
And everyone mocked me for thinking it was dangerous.
I mean, we knew it was dangerous. We just knew we had to do it anyway.
You had no choice. You were the only line of
mock you.
defense. You
Yeah.
and whatever 5 other superhero teams are not in this particular plot line, but are on this world.
Somewhere.
9 months ago is how long.
Hey, almost a year,
first one.
everybody. Congratulations.
Wow.
So, yeah, that we've been playing for the bulk of this year and a little bit of the last one. That's right, because it happened right after Gen Con. Basically. So, with that, I feel like that's a good capper on our first season of Radical Robo Rock Rangers. We'll probably come back in a little bit, but I do think someone is interested in this time slot. Don't know if they still are. We'll figure it out. And then we'll move on from there and keep playing these characters that I very deeply care for and cannot wait to see how they evolve further.
Yeah.
And
Major plot development. Kenny gets a goatee.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Going evil.
Oh, go, T.
Oh my god.
I'm staying in the groove of getting the terrible points. Bye.
Anyway,
Bye.
rock on, Rangers.
Oh god.
Nice